And video recording. We are good, sir.
Hooray!
I almost just dropped my drink.
Can't have
Well,
that.
welcome back, one and all, to what is now, I'm starting to lose track, but I believe session 27 of Rise. Something like that.
Are you sure?
The Ratatouille of the Conquering King.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Epic
Linguini.
cooking quest.
The
Oh my
epic
God.
cooking adventure that is our campaign. Yeah, try to keep up, AI.
That's right.
All right.
Thank God, and make delicious food.
Yes. Make
So
the delicious
none of that is
food.
actually true. Disregard all of that. And what
Yeah, sorry.
actually has been going on, you're fine, in our adventure is you all have been traveling tirelessly through the Neverwinter Woods and eventually found your way back to the Tribor Trail, the dirt road that connects Delverton to eastern town of Tribor and the western thoroughfare, the high road that links Neverwinter with the other southern cities. As you traversed the Tribor Trail, you came upon a caravan full of simple people headed to Delverton looking for work. Also traveling with an adventuring-looking, I believe we called you a Mosier in our last session. A wood elf, a handsome wood elf, Aladri LeFou, looks well equipped for not just survival, but defense as well. Also among these simple folks that you traveled with was a dwarven miner who encouraged you all to travel with them, safety in numbers and all that. There was also a kind of a bookish, gnomish gentleman who seemed fascinated with animals and seemed to know a little bit more about Pamela. Specifically, everyone okay?
Yep.
Yes.
I think so.
Like a small cowboy fell off the shelf.
My cowboy. No.
No.
Put on my cowboy.
Get back on that horse.
Jover was the dwarf, and Brock, or Finipper, was the gnome. One thing that Finipper seemed to comment on about Pamela was that they had this really unique ability to sing, to vocalize their emotions in a magnificent and oftentimes spectacular way. And the way it was written in Finipper's books was that it was often just a sight to behold, a transcendental experience. And as you guys continue traveling with these adventurers, you kind of mused on this for a while, and Staris, with her musical talent, took out her lyre and her lute, and began to pluck some chords, trying to kind of match Pamela's playful barkings and howls. And Staris, being the musical prodigy she is, began to craft a song, from these grunts and from these noises, and Pamela seemed to respond to it and sing along with her. And a insane magical phenomenon happened as you all witnessed this illusory version of a ceratops, almost 5 times the size of Pamela and completely enveloping Hitler, begin to take shape. This massive beast just boom, 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 kind of walking in unison with Pamela as she so happily and carefreely sung along with Staris. And as soon as it happened, it was gone. And it all kind of wowed you and awed you. You were eager to try to learn more about how you made that happen, and if you could repeat that particular feat. Gundren mingled with some of the other travelers. He was very eager to return to Delverton, but even more eager to find his brothers, wanting to keep him and his brother's discovery a secret for now, although Kitlin did bring up a good point that some of these men may be capable miners, and if their brothers are stuck or trapped, these could be reliable allies to call upon again. During the night, as you stopped, you were offered an opportunity to continue traveling to hopefully arrive in Delverton early, but you didn't want to put any of these good people at risk, so you decided to camp out for the night and take a break. Um, Hitland, you spoke with Finipper some more, learned a little bit more about Pamela's origins and where she comes from, and learned about the Desserin Valley, a natural phenomenon to the east that kind of is snuggled just so neatly amongst several mountain ranges that a warm, kind of almost tropical pocket has been created, creating very unique fauna and flora that exist out there. And that is where Pamela comes from.
Some sort of like
Do-
two-legged lizards with big teeth and tiny little arms.
yeah, yeah, and some of them fly, and some of them got big like plates on their back and spikes on their tail.
Wow.
Um, um,
Yes, yes.
uh,
Oh my.
Dominic, you identified the magical wand, the magic missiles, and Bernie, you kind of struggled to fall asleep, so you went and introduced yourself to a Aladri, and he taught you how to play dragon chess, and you all played a rousing game of that and kind of spent some time getting to know each other a little bit more. And eventually, Bernie, as you walked back to where your friends were camped out, you could hear this sound, this almost indescribable sound that sounded like a cross between chanting and music and shouting. And as you got closer to the sound, got louder and louder and louder, and you realized it was coming from Domic's bag. And as you opened Domic's bag, you saw Ku's book. And without thinking, not because you're a thoughtless person, Bernie, it was almost as though you were on autopilot, as if something in this brief moment had possessed you. You reached into the bag and grabbed the book, and as you did, it literally wrestled its way out of your hand and flew up into the air as its pages fluttered open, and it landed in the dirt next to your campfire with a loud and heavy thud and like puffed this huge smoke of dirt, and as it collided with the earth, all of your friends awoke with a start violently. They were all sleeping peacefully around you as you so quietly approached, but when that book hit the grounds, they all woke up because you could all simultaneously hear this loud rhythmic chanting, this otherworldly grinding screaming sound. And as you all stared and awe and fear and amazement and curiosity and whatever it was you felt staring at that book, Stara, something stirred in you. This wasn't any ordinary spell book. There was something really unique about this. And Dominic, blessed with some of Bernie's cunning magic and the powerful artifact you had attuned to, this crown, just several nights before, you touched the book and attempted to understand the message it was trying to share with you all, and you found yourself suddenly and violently thrust into the abyss, another plane of existence far from materia, where nothing exists and nothing survives. A pure, vast void. But in this emptiness, you saw something. You saw the floating corpse of an ancient cosmic being, a god, and something pulled your incorporeal form towards this god. And as you got closer and closer, you witnessed just how truly awesome and large it was. And as you got closer, you saw upon its humanoid looking skull a small figure racing across the pale cheek towards the cosmic swirling emptiness that was inside its eye socket. You saw Ku, and you saw Ku run and leap and disappear in this eye socket filled with a swirling cosmic void. And moments after that happened, Dominic, the corpse of this god, turned and acknowledged you. And it told you that it was happy to see you, that it was good that you were there. because its ascension should be witnessed, and you were there to bear witness to its ascension, to realize the fate that was about to unfold upon all of creation. And so this God, being its witness, being its beholder, granted you 5 questions to ask it within its infinite wisdom and knowledge. You asked your questions, and you were given your answers, warned that the process would shatter your mind. To the rest of you, only a matter of seconds, if that, had passed, and all of this time. And as that happened, and Dominic attempted to reach out to this book, he seemed stunned, just briefly, just for a moment, barely even enough time for you to react. And as you all felt the slightest tinge of concern for your friend as he attempted to reach out with this book, you could smell burning, and as though a flare had ignited on the page of this open spell book, a spell burned onto the open pages as Dominic came back and blood trickled out of his nose as he grabbed his head as a stabbing pain assaulted your mind, Dominic, and your senses at what you had just witnessed and what you had just experienced. Saris, you studied the burn, eldritch, arcane inscription on Ku's spellbook, and you recognized it as a spell, a powerful spell. Untapped other plane. Something had cast this spell through Ku's book and affected Dominic. Dominic, as you try to make sense of everything that just transpired to you, your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy.
Mouse spaghetti.
Everything is just a blur to you. Roll me a D100, Dominic.
Oh shit! All right.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, all right. We're just gonna do it in D&D Beyond.
Oh, big ball, big metal ball.
We'll go with 56.
You said 56?
56.
Okay. Sending you a message right now.
Love it. More
Oh,
secrets.
wow. Interesting.
Did you get something good?
Will you also roll me a D10?
D10. All right. Well, that one I will
Yes.
do. I'll do that one there too. I don't have a D10 right now on my desk. So D10. Bam. Bam. That is an 8.
Okay. And then one last thing from you, Dominic.
Okay.
It can be your choice. It can be a dice roll or a coin flip. But I basically need either an evens, or an odds, or a heads and a tails.
We'll go evens odds.
Okay.
And I'll just roll a D6. That'll just be easier instead of rolling a 20. Odds.
Okay. As Dominic comes to and he looks around and he looks frazzled and you see the blood like trickling out of his nose, how do you all react?
I think
Dominic, you're bleeding.
Dominic, as Staris like looks at you and grabs you, and you kind of in this dazed and confused moment, you look up to her. You see her mouth moving, but you don't hear anything.
Awesome. I think Saris, you just see a wild look in Domic's eyes, and he's what? I can't hear you. I can't. Oh God.
And as Dominic says this, the speech is a little slurred, as though he can't hear himself. And you can't hear your own voice as you try to speak, Dominic. You are deaf. You have no hearing.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Oh,
Okay.
Sit down.
Yeah, Bernie's just gonna come up from behind him or not behind him, but to the side of him and kind of putting it together, motions for him to just kind of sit down and like makes a deep breath motion with her hand and Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. Is there any like medicinal help that I can
Um,
provide in this moment, or anything, any herbs or remedies that I could make or try to make or help? I don't know.
Cyrus looks for a quill and paper.
Okay. Who has several empty pages in his spell book, which is laying right there. Um, and do you have a quill on your person in your own inventory, Stars? I feel like that's something you would
I feel
have
like
as
I
someone who
should.
has
I think
like
yes. No,
written
I'm
music and
songwriter.
stuff. So I think
Yeah.
you have that as well. If you just
Okay.
Bernie, you can roll me a medicine check if you'd like.
Okay. Heck. Oh. There you go.
Wild roll, Dominic, on the D100, by the way.
Awesome.
Oh,
I
and the
hate
odds
that.
and evens, by
Yeah.
the way, if you had gotten even, you would have been blind. So.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Cool. Could have been way
Holy
worse.
moly.
I mean, deaf is not great, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not.
Especially for
Yes.
a lot of my checks deal with
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
Oh no! Right. Like if target can hear you.
Bernie, he's just functionally deaf.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong that you can see. There's no damage. There's a little blood trickling out of his nose and maybe out of his ear, but even if you can get like a little light in, like you don't see like an obvious source of it. You're stunned. It's
Yeah.
just like a sense has just gone from him.
Dara scribbles down what happened and hands the paper to Dominic.
Dominic's gonna read it, and I think his first reaction is to try to talk. He's just gonna start saying things, and then you'll see like the realization dawn on him, like, okay.
Your speech is definitely slurred, but not to the point where you're indecipherable. You can still communicate to your party, essentially.
Yeah, but I just can't hear myself talk, and I probably can't.
And the more you do, and the more you talk, like you can't even hear it like reverberating in your own head. You can feel like a buzz in your head.
Yeah.
But there's no sound. And I think the more you talk, the more that panic sets in, and the more you remember the words, that you were told. You get 5 questions, and then your mind will shatter.
Yeah, and I think Dominic will probably you'll see him start freaking out. He's like starting to hyperventilate, and I think that's what he'll write. He'll write 5 questions, mind will shatter, and that's all he's gonna write on there.
5 questions? What do you mean?
Alright, so roll me an insight check.
You got it, boss.
Ooh.
19.
You ask, what do you mean? And you see just like the panic and the worry in Domic's face, and you look down at Ku's spell book on the ground, that spell that you recognized, contact other plane. Something contacted Domic.
Who? Stars writes.
Dominic will write out the king.
The king.
Doris, as a native to Neverwinter, I gotta pull up another Word document. There hasn't been a king in your lifetime. Probably hasn't been one since your father was a child.
Am I in the group?
Yes, yeah, you're all there. You're all hearing this.
As the resident 172-year-old, Do I remember a king?
Um, the last. Oh, okay. So it was. Yeah, it was much earlier than I thought. The last king of Neverwinter died roughly 80 years ago. He had no heirs, and that was the first time in the Third Age Neverwinter was without a monarch.
And would I
The
have
current.
known about this guy, or was I too deep in my own shit?
Roll me a history check. Let's say DC 15.
Hold on, I think I gotta refresh this. It's not. Come on.
I think they may have updated it or something because I had to like click roll at the bottom left still. Like I had to click on the thing and then roll, and then it
Okay.
did it.
I see.
Yeah, I think
Ooh,
they
that is a
changed it.
nat 20 for a 26.
Nice. Yeah. So
Nice.
this was about 80 years ago, right? So and you're how 170?
172, yeah.
Yeah. So you're a young man back when this happened. You know what I mean? And this was big enough news. The death of the last king of Neverwinter, that it probably even reached the humble caves of Malduin. Um, I would say, yeah. I think you probably vaguely like remember hearing something about it several years ago. It didn't seem like that. It was one of those things where you're like, oh, that's significant, but it doesn't really affect me. Like, oh, interesting that the the surface, this massive surface metropolis no longer has a monarch. Wonder how that's going to affect them, in the next few decades.
Yeah.
Wonder how they're going to adjust with that. And so I think it was maybe something that you kind of found interesting. And I'll even say with the Nat 20, you would know that after the king died, and you would even know the king's name, King Silverlock. He died. He died of natural causes. He was in his like early 90s. So there wasn't anything like crazy about his death. The what was so significant about it was that he didn't have any heirs. And in fact, the family he did have, they kind of there wasn't really any significant news about them. He had a wife and he had a daughter. Um, and it's not unheard of that a daughter would sometimes take over the role of, Queen Regent, or even just become, a new monarchy, right? As times evolve or sometimes. But this wasn't necessarily the case, and that never really got explained why. There wasn't that wasn't really the news. It was just like the king is dead, no male heirs, no more monarch.
Yeah,
Also with the
I'm gonna
nat
do.
20,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll also say with the nat 20, you would also know that about a year later, um, uh, the king's like general, a man named Gustav Embure, was named the regent and given the official title of Lord of Neverwinter. He was the first Lord of Neverwinter, and that's been kind of the ruling.
I get that last name one more time. Gustav, what?
Embure, Emburre.
Is that the current lord, or is he still alive?
No, I will say fuck it with a nat 20. It would be, oh, excuse me. I think it's, as if I'm looking at these years, yeah, it's his grandson is actually the current lord.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Dagult Embure.
Yeah, cool. Stories, can I see a pin quickly?
Oh, here,
Uh,
Kevin.
I'm just gonna write King Silverlock question mark on the paper. Hand it back to Dominic.
Dominic is gonna shake his head and kind of shrug.
Hmm.
As this is happening, I think Barney at first is like stunned and doesn't really know what to do either. Is just kind of shocked that this has happened, but then
Mhm.
she quickly realizes, oh, of course, and she's gonna make some hand signals with her hands, and try and move into speaking with sign language, which is just a common dialect in her village, and just to see
Cool.
if Dominic knows sign language at all, or if he knows any sort of like hand symbols that could translate into that.
I will say I love that for Bernie and for her village. I think that's really, really cool. I will also say that generally
Mhm.
sign language is usually very regional.
Yeah.
Like American Sign Language is different from like, sign language that other languages kind of
Mhm.
use, is my
Mhm.
understanding of sign language. If I'm wrong about that, someone please correct me. So, what I will say is, if Dominic, if you want to give me, we'll call this just a straight intelligence check. There might be some ways to communicate with that, but it would be more about Dominic's ability to pick up on the language and kind of learn it, and not necessarily
Gotcha.
as a form of immediate communication right now.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Cool.
I will roll IRL dice. Let's see.
Nice.
Nice.
Is
While this
a
is happening,
yep.
or go ahead, you can go into something, roll.
It's a 15.
Okay, cool. So while this is happening, while Hitlin, you're kind of pulling the history of what you remember about, the most recent kings and Neverwinter. Staris, you're still kind of, I think, freaked by, what's going on with the spell book, and what could have possibly talked to Dominic to make him experience this. I mean, this is powerful magic that's at work. Bernie, you're going into like, full mama bear mode and just trying to like keep him calm, give him something to do, take his mind off of everything. Aladri, you're packing up your dragon chess set. I mean, Bernie walked away from you 3 minutes ago. And yeah, I think your senses are heightened enough that you've picked up on something is up. I don't think you have any idea the scope or scale of necessarily what they have experienced, but your elvish senses are powerful enough to know that the party was asleep until Bernie showed up. There was a bit of a commotion, and now it seems to be resolved. So I think it's one of those things that like you picked up on like the commotion, and it's kind of like, oh, is this going to be a problem? Like people are sleeping, like kind of went into bodyguard security mode a little bit, and then it quickly got resolved, and the excitement has dwindled. But I think your senses are heightened in this moment. Is there anything you would like to do at this time, Aladri?
Um, no, because I was just chilling on top of uh, uh, the
The main wagon,
the
the big
cart.
wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you probably, like I
So,
said, were like packing up your dragon chess set,
yep,
as Bernie, because like Bernie just walked away. So this has all happened very quickly. And like you're
yep,
packing it up and you realize like everyone woke up. So okay, you're just kind of keeping an eye on it, but not really acting on it.
yep. I,
Cool.
I think I think it's a nightmare, but it was self-contained enough. I don't think
Got it.
anything nefarious was necessarily afoot.
Got it. Cool.
Right, Bernie. Uh, have you figured out what's wrong with his ears?
Well, it's going to take a lot more time than just an evening to figure this out. I'm afraid this is a little beyond any medicinal capabilities that I've learned. I'm trying to see, and I'm going to sign just like a little bit more to Dominic. And if he does understand at all just the common sign language that I know, I'll just sign, we're going to figure this out. I will teach you more signing as we move along. Don't fret, or something like that. I don't know if any of that goes through, but I'm just going to kind of like mouth it and say that, and while they continue to talk to about the rest of everything.
I think with like a 15, you're able to like kind of convey the message like it's okay. I'll help you, like something kind of more simple.
Yeah.
But I think Dominic, I think with a 15, you are kind of picking it up, and I think just having something to do is a nice distraction. But there's so many images flooding your mind right now that it's hard to focus.
Mhm.
This indescribable force and being you witnessed, and what was Ku doing there. And there was also the matter of the face and the memory that returned to you as you were returned back to the plane of materia, right after asking this creature the last question you asked it. Um,
Yeah, and I think with everything going on and Dominic trying to figure out the sign and the memories flashing, his eyes are going to kind of go wild again, and he's going to kind of grab the paper away, or like whoever has the paper, he's going to try to take it. And he's going to write, "I saw Ku" on the paper.
he snatches it out of your hand, Staris, and you watch as he writes this.
Who? Where? Where? She writes back.
He's going to write, "Eldridge being," and then "danger?" ?
I wonder. Stars points her finger at Dominic and just whispers so that no one can hear her, and tries to cast message.
Ooh, nice.
What do you say with your message?
Can you hear me?
Uh, actually,
Yeah.
I gotta look. I
You
gotta
point
look
your
at the
finger toward a
wording.
creature within range and whisper a message. The target, and only the target, hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. You can cast a spell if you're
Yes.
solid objects. If you're familiar with the target, no, it's beyond. Blah, blah, blah. Magical silence, 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of. That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
The spell doesn't have to follow a straight line and can travel freely around corners or through openings. That's cool.
Dominic can hear you. And roll me either an insight, an arcana, or a medicine check, Staris.
Insight, Arcana, or Medicine. Let's go Insight.
I think either one would apply.
10.
Tad.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, he can hear you. He can hear you as you cast the spell.
Dominic, do you whisper something back?
I think what you'll hear is, oh God, thank God. And then you're going to see just relief on his face, and he's just going to try to grab your hands and just have like a really like very sincere smile on his face. Like he was scared out of his mind, and he's finally hearing a friendly voice again.
Yay. Yeah, Stars takes his hands back and then just kind of says to the group, "It worked. I cast message and he can hear me."
Fine. Thanks the gods.
Bernie, when Staris shares that information with you, based on your previous medicine check, and your own kind of knowledge of magic, the message spell is normally, it can, wait, yeah, it normally cannot penetrate magical silence.
Mhm.
Because Staris's message spell was heard by Dominic, this is not magical silence.
Aha.
Domic's just deaf.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. For everybody playing at home.
Nice.
So
For everybody
while
playing it. So
Dominic
everybody.
experiences some relief in this moment at finally hearing a familiar voice, I think, Bernie, you kind of have this realization like, oh, this isn't a trick.
Yeah. But Barney just kind of like shuts her mouth like she's about to speak up, but then she just like zips her lips and just takes a step back and lets that moment of relief happen while it does.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Go!
Oh, this will be fun.
Wow, this is awesome.
Hey, you rolled it.
I did.
This is
You're
mine.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Brain shattered in some portion.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, well, especially when it was like, well, it wasn't that much damage. It's like, all right, well, I guess I got to do something else now.
God.
I shouldn't have said anything. Fuck.
Yeah.
So is it like way late at night right now?
it's
Or
it's
we
like
were like
you
bedding
guys,
down, right?
you guys had all fallen asleep, and like I'll say it's approaching midnight, not quite midnight. But you know how like when you're camping, like everyone goes to bed at 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Like once sun's down, like what are you gonna do? Like stare at a fire and smell your own farts? Like, there's only so much you can do. And especially with like, if everyone traveling, everyone's a little tired. So, I think most of you guys had fallen asleep for like anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours. And Bernie had kind of been tossing and turning a little bit, spent some time with Eladri, learned how to play a game of dragon chess, played a game with them, came back to the camp, and then this all happened, and all of you were kind of like lurched awake. So it's like approaching midnight right now. Everyone around you is like, you can hear people snoring, you can hear like a few people like rolling over, you hear like maybe like a like off in the distance. Like no one seems like really like they're watching you, or it doesn't seem like the camp is waking up because of your commotion. And I think you all kind of have a moment where you start to become aware of how much noise you're maybe making, and start to kind of speak in more hushed whispers as you just kind of have that awareness.
Except for
but yeah,
me,
it's getting
I
pretty
can't
late.
hear.
Right. It's getting pretty late. Stars, I think because you weren't meditating, you were sleeping, like you're not really close. Like none of you are close to finishing the long rest yet. But you could easily fall back asleep. And by the time everyone started moving for the next leg of the journey, you could complete your long rest. There's just been this minor interruption.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm
Stars
gonna-
whisper. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna also write on the sheet of paper that I'll just write Aradel his name, and I'll pat him on the back and let him just reassure him that we're headed to a place where this might get solved.
Mhm.
Nice.
And then Stars whispers to Dominic, what is this eldritch being? Where was Ku? Is he okay? Without the laugh. That was me.
Yeah. This is all still during message, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're just whispering to each other in the
Just
night.
whispering to each other.
Pillow talk.
It's a cantrip, so every time
yeah.
she kind of whispers to you, you can respond.
It just goes
you can
off,
respond to
yeah.
this message.
You can respond to this
Right.
message.
Like it's yeah. It's a weird walkie-talkie. It only
Yeah.
works this way.
One
in
way,
our
yeah.
in our mind, yeah. He's just gonna whisper back. I don't know what it was. It was unfathomably huge. And the only thing I remember is I saw Ku running across its undead skull and jumping into his eye.
That's weird.
Tell me about it. And you just see Dominic's face go, really? Like that, like, yeah, I dealt with it.
It's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you came back to us. Maybe this is something temporary that after some rest, you'll get your hearing back.
I hope so, but the threat he made came true. He told me
Threat?
that if... He basically said that my mind was gonna shatter.
Well, maybe we can find a way to put the pieces back together.
Well, one can hope. I was already losing some of my marbles. Let's just keep losing some more, I suppose.
Don't worry, we'll find them.
And Dominic's just gonna kind of squeeze your hands a little bit.
Let's get some rest and then figure some more out in the morning.
He's just gonna
She
nod.
squeezes back. She squeezes back and then pats him on the shoulder.
And you're gonna hear a little whisper. Thanks, Star.
Would
Uh,
you all like to do anything else, or the book? I think is still open on the grounds with the spell burnt into the page.
I think Cyrus just says to the group, well, I can communicate with him, but it just has to be intentional. I don't know what we can do for him right now.
Star, before you go to bed, could I have a little chat with you off to the side?
Of course.
Bernie kind of like darts her eyes over to Dominic and then back to her.
Of course. Stars joins Bernie.
Oh,
I'm just gonna kind of. I'll be right back. There's a couple things that I want to collect. And then she's gonna kind of like walk off a little bit to the side of the road where there's some overgrowth.
What is it, Bernie?
I don't know how to say this, but I'm a little worried that what's just happened to our friend Dominic might not be completely reversible. If I understand correctly, which I'm pretty sure I do, this isn't a magical effect. There's something in his brain that's actually been disrupted physically. I'm not sure if I should tell him or if maybe we should just get to town first and try a few things out.
Well, if something's been put out of place, maybe it can be put back into place.
I hope so. Right. I suppose I'll just keep quiet about it right now. I just
Yeah,
don't want
maybe.
to get his hopes up either.
Well, we can only try.
Aye.
I think we'll have better luck in town, and we've got Aradel there to help out and maybe give us some advice.
Caitlin came along too.
Yep.
Good. Yes.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. This is
This is good. It should have been a
I love it. I love it.
it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
Dominic
that's
can't
true.
hear us, so that you'd only be walking away from me.
And Caitlin just follows. I love that.
Are we having a chat?
I love that. Yep.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah, you heard what I said, Caitlin. But you're right. I don't mean to be I don't mean to give up hope of repair. I just, there's just been a lot that has happened. I hope we can fix this too.
I have heard of. I know this isn't magical, what's going on with this hearing, but I do know of when people can't hear, there have been some magical implements that have been able to help them regain their hearing. But I don't know.
Really? Oh, that's incredible. some sort of like metal or something.
Yeah, some kind of a device
Aye, that's
that they
magic.
wear
and
on their
beyond.
ear.
Maybe we can find one of those in Neverwinter.
It's a possibility.
Right, hi. That makes me feel a little bit better. Where magic can't help, maybe science can.
Well, and but also, Bernie, too, you have healed physical, you know, ailments before. That's not necessarily with outside the realm of magic. I mean, Staris, when
Mm-hmm,
she
it's true.
was injured by the Dragonborn, the leader of the Red Brands, whose name I can't remember. There was a moment where your magic tapped into something primal and powerful and was able to, you know, where the arm, or whatever the wound could have left, horrible scar tissue or even like had complications as it healed, almost was repaired as though nothing had ever happened. Um, so magic, is still
Mm-hmm.
very capable of healing the physical. It's just, I think the insight was so much more that, this damage isn't like a trick or deception. Like it's real.
I
Um,
gotcha. I gotcha.
and and but it's also kind of hard to identify the source, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I think it's just like a combination of both of those things working in tandem that just it's just a terrifying injury,
Mm-hmm.
right, to
Mm-hmm.
sustain.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I think with that too, the last thing Bernie will say is just like, and I suppose, magic can do great things, but I've never really worked with the brain before. Uh, but I'll keep studying and we'll figure something out. Uh, all right.
And I think with that, you all kind of see Dominic sort of sitting by himself, still very much reeling from the experience, and I'll kind of regather the weight of the night, the weight of your several days now away from Delverton and traveling through the wilderness, all catching up to you quite rapidly. And I think eventually you all try to find some rest. And with that, you guys may all take and complete a long rest, except for you, Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
You only gain the benefits of a short rest this night, as one does not find rest so easily after looking into the face of God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Uh, I suppose I will use one of my hit dice to like get myself back up after that for sure.
You may do so. The rest of you may go ahead and take and finish
All right.
long rest.
Nice.
There we go. Gained all my
Very
health
good,
back.
sir.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
You all awake the next morning pretty early. You can kind of hear the sound of other people stirring, I think, before some of you wake. Dominic, I think you're probably awake before everybody else. Um, as I'm not even sure you slept tonight. I think
I
you
don't.
might
I
have
don't think
nodded off
he.
for like
Yeah, I don't think he got any sleep after that, for sure.
20 minutes here and there of maybe nodding off, but nothing sustainable.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys can kind of hear Jover's voice, kind of getting people moving and getting certain things packed up. As you start to pack up your own campsites, Eladri, uh, you're still at the helm. It was a pretty quiet night, and Jover actually came to you, probably say about an hour before there was any sign of dawn. And you and Jover and Dwalin kind of, figured you'd kind of about half an hour start going around and systematically waking up certain people uh, to kind of get, and you've done this a couple of times, right? You kind of have your ritual, um, and as the rest of you all awake, um, the sun isn't quite risen yet. The sky is like a kind of a dark purplish color. Um, but yeah, you kind of start gathering your packs, your things. Dominic, as the rest of the party wakes up, what kind of state do they find you in? Are you doing anything? Are you just lost in your own thoughts?
I think the team probably would have found Dominic kind of staring at the embers of the fire going out, and he's not breathing heavily anymore. He's kind of calmed down at this point, but I think he's just stuck. And he's just contemplating. Because at this point, I think Dominic is... His whole life, he had to rely on all of his senses. And now one of his senses that he had relied heavily on is gone. And so I think in his mind, he's trying to, after the initial shock, now trying to contemplate, okay, how can I protect people now that one of the senses I had honed over the years of training gone? What do I do to compensate for this? I think that's his whole thing. He's trying to figure out how he can benefit or how he can help still. How can he protect? What does he need to do? What does he need to train? Like, he's going to try to go back into his military days of like, okay, one thing is gone. It sucks. But what do I need to do to fix it? What do I need to do to train? What can I fix? What can I change about myself to still be productive?
Yeah, I think you start kind of thinking about your blind spots as a fighter, right? Like, obviously it's going to be easier for like you to get snuck up on, right?
Yep.
So you got to keep your head on a swivel. Trust like the hairs on the back of your neck when they stand up, kind of a thing. You have a heightened sense of smell because of your abilities. Learning to lean on that. Yeah, I think you're kind of doing that mental checklist, right? Where it's like, okay, I've lost this, but I still have this, I still have this, I still have this. What are the other tools in my toolbox? And
Correct.
which of those tools become even more valuable, even more important because of this tool I've lost, right? I've lost my hammer, so, how do I use this 2x4 as a hammer, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that he's going into maintenance mode of like, okay, so
Right.
now I can't do
Full
this.
checklist.
Yep. And he's just running it through. And I think that's probably another on top of not getting sleep and the images popping up in his head. He was also running through this in his mind.
I love the moment in Jarhead when they're like taking apart the gun and like putting it back together, and how it's such like a vital part of their training. And I think that's very much like what this is for you, right? Like, except you are your gun, right? So you're taking everything apart and you're like, okay, I know the screw is missing, right? Or I know the spring is missing, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Right. But it's like, it's having such an intimate knowledge of all those other things and doing that check-in. That's really cool. And you guys, as you awake, you see that Dominic, he actually looks more focused, a little bit more determined. Maybe there's even like something a little bit intimidating about that, as you kind of see the expression on his face.
Yeah, it's probably super intense at this point. Like, he's really digging into it.
It betrays, I think, so much about Dominic, even without you intending. And I think you can see in the lines of his face, this man has seen some shit. And still he endures. And as you guys pack up, you kind of hear, where's my list of names? Jover kind of, do like a dark kind of whistle At this point, everybody's awake, and that whistle is kind of like a signal that like it's time to get your last items into the cart, and they're getting ready to move.
I think Staris checks in with Dominic too, even though he seems very intense. Just her own curiosity. She probably like stands maybe to the side or behind him, like, "Hey, Dominic, are you still deaf?" No reaction.
He is.
Yep, still deaf. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, she does not cast message. She's just trying to see if he can hear
Yeah,
her.
she just literally says it.
And then like steps more to his view and like taps him on the shoulder and like kind of motions to like, no, actually she can, yeah, can you hear anything at all? She whispers through a message.
No, it's still nothing, Stars.
Okay, I'm so sorry, that's terrible. I wonder if there's maybe a specific sound or frequency that you could hear. And then starts pulling out instruments.
And he's gonna,
Looking differently.
so Dominic's gonna cock his head a little bit, and he's gonna say, "I might look like a dog when I transform, but I'm not a dog, Stars."
Dominic, you don't look anything like a dog when you transform.
That's true.
You look
that's-
like a weird, like elongated, naked Batman.
Alright, I might
And I
look
don't
like
mean
an
like
animal.
a DC superhero.
Yeah.
I mean like a bat man.
I guess dog is not the right word. Animal, but
Yeah.
it's a good thought. Maybe I always loved hearing your music. Maybe something will pop.
We'll see what we can find. Tara shrugs and puts everything away.
Yes. And as the rest of you begin packing up your campsite, Caitlin, I assume you're writing atop Pamela some more.
Yep.
Yeah. You hear Jover shout out, Jover, excuse me, kind of like addressing the group, like, should reach Delverton by end of day today. Just one more day, folks. Kind of trying like his best to sort of rally them, as morale is not bad but not great. You know, just life on the road is tough, not fun. And you guys all kind of take your positions in the back of the main wagon as everyone else kind of gets into the passenger ones. Eladra, you still driving with Dwalin and Jover? I assume.
Yes.
Yep. Dwalin, after about 15 minutes on the road, did I ever tell you that my grandfather used to have a house down the street if you fall? And that same story just begins anew as you all travel down the road. About an hour later, the sun begins to rise. And Dominic, I think you would see it first as you're kind of maybe lingering in the back of the wagon, staring over the side. A herd of deer that have kind of wakened and are beginning to move and graze early in the morning as the sun is just beginning to come up. And it's deer that you remember seeing when you first got on the road in your search of Gundren. Who's actually riding, I think, in the back with you all now. He kind of met you all as you were loading up. How'd you guys sleep? I slept like a log, I tell you. It's good to have a belly full of warm stew and ale. How about you all? You look glum, sourpuss. He kind of like gives you a friendly jab, Dominic. Just completely oblivious to everything you guys went through last night. Excited to get to Delverton. Here, give me a lift. Help him And as you're kind of sitting back there, Gundren's making idle conversation. Dominic, you see these deer sprint across, these furry deer with 4 eyes that wrap around the side of their head, making it easier for them to see prey. And as they kind of bound, through the field, they leave these like little trails of light. You can actually hear some of the kids like oohing and awing from the last wagon as they see this. Is there anything you guys would like to do on your ride into Delverton?
I think that Bernie's kind of heated up some warm water and has brewed a little bit of tea with some of the herbal, berries and nuts and herbs that she has, and kind of mixed them in. First cup going to Dominic, and she signs a good morning to him with one hand and hands him the cup with the other and gives him a smile. And then does the same to the rest of you that are in the wagon and goes back and sits back in her position and kind of looks at everybody. Well, I don't know if any of you speak the common sign language, but this could be a fun time to learn a new language if you want to learn some basics, considering the circumstances. Also, Gundren, I don't, and I think Bernie kind of like looks over to Stars and to Kitland as to like how to explain this, like kind of what should I say here? And like looks at both of them for assistance, I guess, as she just kind of stumbles over her words a bit.
And like you can tell that like Gundren's kind of having a good morning. Like he hasn't been, for someone who got kidnapped and tortured for almost a week, he's been like generally a good sport, even within these harsh conditions that you guys have been in, traveling through the woods and kind of living off of rations and things like that. Like, he's generally been like a pretty positive guy, but given his circumstances, he's quiet and reserved and obviously worried about his brothers. But you can tell like this morning he's just got like a little bit more of a smile, his belly's a little fuller, he got a little tipsy last night, maybe got a little pipe smoking in. So you can just kind of see that he's like enjoying this change in fortune this morning, and he has just like a more generally positive demeanor as you kind of broach this very intense topic with him. What is it, Barney? I mean, I feel like you can tell me anything and not kill my spirits right now.
Stars looks at Bernie and just like holds up a hand.
Wanna bet?
And then whispers to Gundren, kind of, and cast message again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we had a bit of a situation last night.
Holy shit, you're whispering in my head.
Don't react. It's fine. Stop it.
Stop it.
Like makes the face and like locks in on you.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's not make this a big deal. Dominic lost his hearing. He was contacted by something from another plane through Ku's spellbook. So we're gonna have to try to figure that out.
You see Gundren's like cheerful demeanor just drop instantly. He goes pale in the face, his eyes go wide, and like with like a stutter, he's just like, whoa.
I'm so
What do
sorry.
you mean something contacted him last?
I wish I could tell you more. I just know that powerful magic was cast, and now our friend cannot hear.
He curses under his breath. For those who speak Dwarvish, you might blush a little bit at what he says. And or maybe not.
I was going to say, I think Bernie just kind of like nods her head and like shrugs.
Yeah, that's the appropriate response, sir.
Yeah.
And you see Gundren just like froze his brow and is like, first you tell me my brother stumbled upon the legend of Echo Cave and how gods are making our friends deaf. What is going on around here? He just kind of looks at all of you incredulously.
And I think
Like
as soon as
waiting for like something to make sense.
Gundren looks at Dominic. Dominic's just gonna smile and give him a thumbs up. Not knowing what the conversation's about.
Just nodding and smiling.
Yeah. Dominic is none the wiser. Yeah.
Cyrus
really
points
is
her finger at
down.
Dominic and says, "Tell Lantern about your situation."
And then you see him take his thumb down and go, and kind of just get real sour. Not sour, just kind of like sheepish. I think that was Dominic's trying to like keep it positive because he saw that he was positive for a little bit.
Telling me this whole region might be cursed or something. Find my brothers and go home. Well, hopefully our luck will change once we all get to Delverton. There's some good folk there. Someone can help your friend out with a hearing.
That's what we're hoping.
Is that
Without rolling insight, you can tell too. Gundren is like, he's just kind of telling you what you want to hear. You know, like, yeah, just like this is beyond him. He's as stunned by it as you all are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ride up to Eladri. And
Go.
all right, how you going?
Oh, hello, Kitlin.
That's right. Yeah. How you doing?
Pretty good. Quite the
Eats your ass in archery and then
quite-
acts like he doesn't know your name.
quite the kerfuffle last night.
Right. That's what I was coming up to you. Do you have any healers in your group?
Not so much what they can't find out here or have amongst any packs that they might have. But
I know first aid. Dwalin
Yep.
says.
and a fair deal, a fair amount of them do.
Ain't nothing in this world spit and whiskey can't heal.
Well, no, we're not going to spit in whiskey in anyone's ear.
I mean, have you tried it? Have you tried giving whiskey? Sometimes I
We've
drink
not,
too
no.
much whiskey and I lose my hearing, and then I drink more whiskey, and then more time happens, and then my hearing comes back.
Right.
All right.
Well,
What?
Oh, actually, I
Huh?
do need you to
Speak up.
take the reins here.
Okay. He takes the reins.
Concentrate.
He's snoring.
Oh God.
But the horses know the way.
Nice.
It's fine.
Yeah.
right. Have you ever encountered anyone going deaf in the night?
No, but I have seen stranger things. Not to mention that glowing beast you have right there.
Right. That was pretty class, right?
Yeah. Pretty magnificent. If I do say so myself.
We'll be working on that trick. Hopefully, she can do it again for you someday.
I would absolutely love to see that.
Can you play an instrument?
I do not. Occupations and attachments had me elsewhere. I don't have the patience for instrumentation.
You seem to have the patience for a bow and arrow. So I'll have somebody I've got to introduce you to when we get to Delverton. He made this, and I'm going to show him my bow attachment.
Oh,
Nice.
quite
Yeah, and you
the
see this
fancy
like
piece of work.
you basically see like a quick striking like igniter on attached to this bow, um, and I think you quickly kind of deduce like the implications and how, if you had like an arrowhead that was easily ignitable, um, um, you know, that could be pretty lethal in the right hands.
Hmm. That
I'm out of the arrows to use for it, but I made a whole bunch in Delverton, so hoping to do that again. As soon as we get back, I'll show you the way.
The people of Delverton are
They eat a lot
nice.
of greasy food. Yep.
I,
Nice.
A lot of pork. A lot of pork is consumed in Delverton.
just so happens to be one of my favorites. Mm. Well, yeah. Please, I hope you'll introduce me to all your friends in Delverton,
Surely, we'll do, yeah.
because we can't help but do a little good.
All right, so have you joined? Is this your original gang, or have you been adventuring with the smaller crew like we've got here?
Oh, um, haven't quite found a crew yet, as you would say, but this is actually my first time venturing much further than uh, Tribor itself.
Right, well,
So
it's pretty nasty out there, so I would say stay close to us, and we'll have your back if you've got ours.
I I think that would be a wonderful commiseration. And I lean over. I leave it. Lean over and pull a hand out to Kitland.
Shake it, that hand.
Oh,
And a beam of
I
light shines from the sky and illuminates the joint hands, and a voice booms out from the heaven.
Oh my god.
Best friends.
Best friends.
yep.
Cool. So yeah, we're just chugging along, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the ride is pretty uneventful. Several hours go by. The caravan kind of makes like a quick stop to let everybody, kind of stretch their legs, do their business, make a little food, have a little lunch. But not nearly as long as the reprieve you kind of took with them the day prior when you first met them. Seems like they were having some cart trouble anyways with the wagon wheel, and they met new people, and there was just sort of a reason to um have a little bit of fellowship in that moment. So this break is much shorter, and before you know it, you're back on the road. And the journey it's quiet, it's peaceful. You start to um see some familiar sights, start to remember some of the terrain a little bit. I think you eventually kind of cross the very rocky, kind of hilly, like boulderous terrain that you spent that one night in. Where you were convinced, there was a giant rock, like flying bird outside your cavern, and you kind of, as you look out and see the rocks and the mountain range in the distance, you kind of scan the skies for any sign of giant flying creatures, but unfortunately don't see anything. And it's a pretty short ride. You're making good time, especially on this wagon, back to Delverton. And unless anybody would like to do anything specifically, just as the afternoon sky begins to change color from, bright blue to like a hazy yellow to the painted colors that come with sunset. You all begin to see the shape of or nope, excuse me. We'll say kind of like late afternoon. You find the road off the Tribor Trail that leads to Delverton. Kind of shortly after that mountainous, boulderous terrain you all camped out in. And as the sun begins to set and paint the sky, you see the shape of Delverton slowly coming into view. We will take, let's say, like a quick 10-minute break, and we'll meet back at 8:30 and dive into the rest of our session.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say really quickly, DM, before is it
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Can I
anything you want to
actually
do. Yeah.
just really quickly, just so we don't like miss the time that we were on the road? Can I actually have tried to teach some like basic common sign language to everybody, like in the wagon that was paying attention, and like
Yeah,
kind of start to teach them that?
Okay, I tell you what. We're gonna do like a group intelligence check if everybody is down to try to learn some sign language from Bernie.
Yeah.
And based on the average that everybody gets, I'll give you like a limited number of phrases you can choose to teach everyone.
Cool. I love that. That's awesome. Sick.
So go ahead and just everyone give me just a straight. I'm trying to see, is there like a good sleight of hand? Isn't really what I'm looking for. I'll say you could use like investigation for this. Or just like a straight intelligence check.
I'll take investigation.
Okay.
What's up with that?
I might even take survival for this as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Are you including Eladri in this lesson?
Yeah, if he's turned around, faced us, and interacting with us, then yeah, I think it's just a moment while we have some spare time. Then like, why not? Kind of.
Yeah, I think after the talk too, especially with Kitlin's, Eladri and Bernie kind of has this group activity she wants to do, and she invites you to come do it with them. Dawn's like, I had some coffee at lunch. I can drive for a little bit if you want to take the load off. And I will say it's been about 24 hours since your last meditation, so I think taking, a chance to relax might actually feel kind of nice too. As you are starting to, I think you mask it well, but you are starting to feel a little fatigue set in.
Yeah. Got the road eyes. Yeah.
I am not a good teacher.
Okay.
Oof.
All right. What did everybody get? Just give me your numbers.
We start like flicking each other off.
Yeah.
It just
Start
turns into
insulting each
like
other.
everyone doing like the butthole like sign and like
Yeah.
making dirty gestures with their
That's
hands.
amazing.
What did everybody get?
22.
Nice.
The nat 20 though.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh,
It was.
yep.
It was.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a 12.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Okay. Dominic?
Dominic, I rolled real dice and I got a natural 20 for a 26. I think Dominic is like honed in on this.
Hey!
Let's go.
Oh.
Yeah. And what about you, Q?
Aladri.
Now, Q,
Nope.
Eladri.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I got a 5. But
You got a 2.
what
All right.
What are you
there you go.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was not a nat
I don't
one.
ask
That was a nat
questions.
two.
It's not in that one,
Oh,
exactly.
man.
So.
Hey.
Just a little bit better.
Oh, I need a tissue. Hold this.
Yeah, but if everybody else is doing better,
2
like-
nat 20s. I mean, that's sick.
Right? I mean, y'all's average is still like, 14.
Yeah.
Which is pretty high. And I'll say with the 2 nat 20s, so I think I'll go ahead because you got the 2 nat 20s. I'll bump that up to 15. In my mind, 15 was going to be the threshold for like at least 3 phrases. So you kind of take like the next like we'll say 2 or 3 hours, like the last leg of the journey, to kind of do this. So Bernie, you can choose to teach 3 phrases that everyone will be able to communicate without any verbal communication. What 3
Sick.
phrases do you want to teach them? And I'll say these phrases have to be like 6 words or less, Like I'll let you do
Yeah.
7 or 8 if it's not crazy. But you know what I mean? Like it can't be like it has to be something kind of simple.
Cool. Amazing. Can I think about it and then get back?
Yeah, let's take our 10-minute break. Let's meet back at 8:35 because I think Zamon's probably got to say goodnight to some kids soon.
I think he already did.
Oh yeah, I already
Okay,
did and
perfect.
came back. So
Beautiful. Well, let's take a quick 10. I'm gonna get a drink, roll a
yep,
thing,
yep,
and we'll be back in it.
yep. Heard,
Yep.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you
Love you
guys.
guys.
All right, bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Now I'm back for real.
Were you fake back last time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I unmuted, but then I went back into the kitchen to get more Oreos and beer.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
It's the mint Oreos, so they taste like.
Ooh, heck yeah. Do you put them in the freezer a little bit, or you just take them right out of the...
I haven't yet, but that's a really good idea. That's how I do all my Thin Mints.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. You have to do that with Thin Mint for sure.
Yeah.
When
Daisy's wondering if
I
she's
was-
gonna get some.
She's not-
She's not. That's a hashtag not gonna happen.
when I was a kid, my mom really liked Thin Mint, and she used to put them in the freezer. And she told me that they were medicine, and that I couldn't eat them, and that they were specifically her PMS pills.
Ah,
And I didn't know what PMS pills meant. I just knew that it was medicine. So I had a babysitter who was like the neighbor's, like, high school daughter or whatever, who would, like, watch me when, mom and dad were gone. And she, like, opened the freezer and found our Thin Mints and was like, ooh, sweet, and, like, started eating them. I was like, oh, you can't eat those are mom's PMS pills.
that's
Sweet,
awesome.
No.
No, my mother's pills.
Oh my
Very
God.
delicious.
I want pills like this.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
I'm gonna be in so much trouble.
Oh.
So, you should ask Phil about the time he ate my Thin Mints and what I did to him.
Oh,
Ooh.
God.
I put his mattress in his shower.
In his shower?
Yes.
Nice.
TLDR.
It was-
He had a wet mattress.
It was really funny. It was really funny because I was, like, in my bedroom and I heard him come home. And I just hear him, like, walk around, like, go in the kitchen, like, pour some water or whatever. And it's late. I know he's tired. And I hear him go into his bedroom. And then I hear him come out of his bedroom. Then I hear him go back in his bedroom. And then I hear him come back out of his bedroom. And I hear, like, what? And I hear him go back in his bedroom. Where is it? Like, come back out of his bedroom.
Where is it? It's hilarious to say about the mattress.
Oh my god. What
Where
size
is it?
mattress?
It was like a full, like a full size
Okay.
mattress. And this was back when we were in college. Like, he just had it, like, on the floor, right? Like, we all fucking did.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
And so I just grabbed that sucker and put it in the shower and, like, covered the shower curtain. And you just wouldn't think to, like, check your shower for when you're looking
Sure,
for your
sure
mattress.
would not.
Your mattress
That's
gone.
not-
That doesn't
that's
make
not
any sense.
romantic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the mattress did go somewhere, it sure as shit isn't in my shower, so I'm not even gonna look at it.
Yeah, correct.
And it's heard about getting more and more frustrated, and I was, like, sitting in my bedroom, like, you kept reading it.
You ate my Thin Mints, you son of a bitch.
My
Yeah.
PMS pills.
Wait, my PMS bills.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. So, we return. As you guys have also returned. Is this like the Goofy sounding song? I think it is.
The goofy sounding?
Yeah, maybe. This might be too much. And you guys kind of pass through, like a couple of, like, old, like, little rinky-dink farms. You see the orchard kind of growing along the, like, northwestern corner, just outside of Delverton. You see, like, the crumbling ruins that bear witness to the old town of Phandalin that came hundreds of years before. As you all kind of witness the familiar sights and scents of Delverton. You see, as you ride into town, excuse me while I go back to some very old notes. You see Barthen's Provisions, the very famous kind of red-roofed storehouse that is also kind of doubles as a stable, also kind of doubles as like a small ranch. Whoever's got the crinkly stuff, it's quite loud. Just FYI.
I am sorry.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Lo siento.
The wagons pull kind of into Barton's provisions, and set all of the passengers start to pull out. You see that Dwalin and Tover kind of begin speaking with Elmira about getting the horses and the ponies stored and seeing if there's rooms for the wagons, if they have place to unload, and kind of starting to work out the logistics of that. But several of the kind of individuals that are traveling begin to get off and kind of peel off in various directions. It is getting late. It's about like 5:30, 6 o'clock. The sun's starting to go down. It's getting later in the year, so the sun is setting a little bit earlier. Kind of crossing the threshold from fall into winter around this time of year. And you see several of the people that you traveled with are kind of beginning to scuttle towards the town square. It actually looks like most everyone's headed towards the town square. You get the sense either head to the Stonehill Inn to maybe find rooms, or further into the Sleeping Giant Inn, which now may be open for business. Some seem to be heading towards the Town Master's Hall to inquire about the work notice for Tressender Manor, and some seem to be heading even further south into town, towards a building you guys haven't really spent much time at yet, and that's the Delverton's Miners Exchange. And you see Gudrun kind of begins to crawl down off the wagon that you're all on as you're all sort of getting off and getting up, into the town. And he approaches you all, and you see him kind of talking to a few of the other dwarves that you recognize as some of the other miners. He kind of comes back and he says, "Well, a few of us are going to head over to the Delverton Miners Exchange and talk to the proprietor there. That's where the miners can get, a license, and regulated, mining work is all done through there. But I'm hoping that they may know something about my brothers. Will you all be staying in Delverton long?"
We're not quite sure.
Great question.
We've got some business to attend to elsewhere, I think, but we're gonna do our best to get some rest, I think.
Well, good. I at least want to buy you all a drink at the inn. I'll
Aye.
meet you there in a couple of hours, and hopefully we'll have some good news to share about my brothers. And, well, I guess this job I hired you for, you've gone above and beyond completing it, and I'm sure glad I hired all of you. I really am. So he goes around and kind of takes each of your hands and shakes it individually. As some of the miners begin walking, and they're like, "Hey, Gundren, are you coming?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll catch up." And he says, "Probably try and go find Sildar if he's still around. I've got a few words with him. He's a shite bodyguard." He laughs at his own joke. Says, "Be seeing you around. Seriously, first rounds on me tonight." And you see he kind of scuttles off and starts heading towards the town square to the Miners Exchange, which is beyond the Town Master's Hall. And you guys are kind of here in Delverton to do as you please. I will say Dominic and Bernie and Eladri, I think you would probably spot this. What's your passive perception?
13.
Okay, and Dominic and Bernie, it's 13 or 14 for you guys?
14 for me.
14 for me as well.
14. Okay. You notice there seem to be a significant amount of horses posted up near the Town Master's Hall.
Do we?
But otherwise,
Do I?
the town is yours. It is.
Do I still
getting
have
late
the-
in the day.
Do I still have the paper? I'm assuming I still have paper with me because that's my only means of communication at this point.
Yeah, I think between your companions, if you wanted to rip a few pages out of Ku's spell book, I think Star is probably.
Nope,
some
I'm
parchment on
going
there.
nowhere near
I
that
think-
fucking book anymore.
Yeah.
Tomic is like, nope, done with that.
Yeah, that's fair. You can also try to get Cyrus's attention to message you.
Yeah, I think what
Oh,
he would.
Before we go much
Yeah, you
further,
know
though,
3 things in sign language now.
Yeah.
Bernie,
Yeah.
Bernie was able
Yeah.
to successfully teach you all 3 phrases that you could communicate with each other via sign language. Bernie, what are those 3 phrases you want your party to know?
Yeah, so I think that, I didn't know if we wanted to go back or do it. I think Bernie starts off with just some simple, funny things fuck you, and holding up a middle finger like we talked about, some really silly, crude things. And then she starts thinking about her village as they're kind of rolling along, and she thinks about when they guarded the village, and so she teaches everybody the signing for use caution or caution as the first phrase.
Okay.
For the second phrase, I think that she just thinks about everyday conversation and also checking in on people. And so the second phrase is just how are you, or are you okay, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then the third phrase was one that was very often and commonly passed around towards the ends of days and beginnings of days, or when journeymen went out and journeywomen went out to gather or hunt or whatever. And worship and all of that, and the last phrase is going to be "family sticks together," and that was kind of just like a sweet, loving thing that was often signed. You know what I mean? Signed.
Ohana means family.
Yeah, kind of.
That's right.
Yeah. So and I put them in the Discord too. So.
Okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
So those are all the phrases that Bernie was able to sort of teach you on your ride back.
Cool. Love that. That's so sweet. Love that.
You guys all kind of watch as Gundren kind of follows some of the other miners. It seems like everybody's good. Tovlin finds you, Eladri, at one point, and just thanks you for getting them here safely from Tribor. I think you've probably already been paid for this job, so there isn't a exchange of money.
Nope.
But go ahead and add 25 gold pieces to your inventory as this was the amount you got paid for this job.
Nice.
He kind of just parts with you and shakes your hand, and yeah, you all kind of have the whole of Delverton to explore. The Stonehill Inn is a place where you can get a room. The Sleeping Giant Inn was in the process of opening, or had just opened, I think, right before you left. You can see up on the hill where Tressender Manor was. Demolition has already begun, and the singular wall that was still standing has already been knocked over, which you can already tell just from this angle down here. And other than the large number, I think you see about 5 or 6 horses all posted up near the Townmaster's Hall, Delverton seems like Delverton.
Are there any banners on the horses or recognizable symbols?
It's a little hard to tell from here, and you kind of squint to look. Roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Well, I guess Bernie's doing that. I think Domic's gonna try to grab Stars's shoulder and kind of point to his head.
What is it?
I think the horses. I see the horses over there. I think that's probably the entourage from the Lord's Alliance that Sildar told us about. That might be our pay for everything that's happened up to now.
Good. That's good thinking.
Right, we've
Cyrus
That-
relays that to the group.
we're meant to get paid for this, right?
Dominic, he didn't hear your
No.
question, so.
I'll sign the money thing with my hand.
Oh, and then yeah, I mean, like
Put my
rubbing
hands
your
together.
fingers together, he kind of understands what
Yeah.
that is, so he'll shake his head. Yeah, he'll go yep, yep.
I'll just like huddle up with the group real quick. Right, we've got a few things we need to do off the jump. We need to find Aradel for help with Dominic and finding Ku. We've got to check in with Sildar, and I've got to go to the Stonehill and drop off some arrows. You know, those take a long time, but boy, are they helpful in battle.
Hey, that sounds good. I'd also like to, if there's any libraries or stores that have books in them, I feel like I need to do a little bit of research, see if I can maybe mold my magic to help Dominic a little bit.
Right, well, we know where the library is. I guess we'd be kind of standing right next to that if we came in the same way, right? And at the start of the town, next to the
Elmira's provisions. She had like a few books that Ku was really fascinated in when you guys first got here, but I would not call it a library.
Okay.
No, yeah,
It was like a
free books.
general store. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a thrift store, like a very understocked thrift store.
Gotcha. By the way, my perception was 9 and 7, so that's a 7 for perception.
I saw that. That's why I never said anything
Cool,
more
okay.
about it. I will say with a 7, you know, even with the 7, because this is just kind of free information you would observe, is they do seem, these aren't like dusty farm horses. Like you can see that they do appear to have some dressing on them, but you can't make out the colors or insignia from this distance.
Okay, gotcha. We should probably also check out what's going on up there, eh? Some fancy horses.
Right, well, hopefully Sildar's in there, and it's 2 birds in 1 stone.
Aye.
True enough.
Oh, on the way, I am going to drop these off. Got to get them in the grease trap as soon as possible.
Aye.
Maximum potency.
Right.
And who is the Sildar? Is he a mercenary leader? I was told there was a town master Webster. What's happened with him?
He's just a bit of a sham. I'd say Sildar really is the one that's protecting this place right now and making the good decisions. If you want to talk to somebody that's really in charge, I think he's the one.
Oh, all right. It's good to know. I should make it there post haste. I was told I might need to speak with someone in charge.
Right then, are we splitting up?
Great question. Yeah, we could do everything together.
Dominic is no help with this. Just FYI.
All right. Yep.
Right.
You guys are all having this conversation. Dominic's just kind of staring off into space. Yeah, you guys, this is shitty for me. This has got to be even worse for you guys to like have conversations, and Dominic can give nothing to it.
Barney just makes a little heart symbol.
That's great.
Amanda's set. I think I need to go speak to Aradel and try and find some books to help Dominic.
No, I'll go. Oh, I feel more drawn to that. Maybe we can get Dominic some help.
Aye, all right. You want to communicate that to Dominic and see what he wants to do?
Absolutely. Dominic, we're trying to decide what to do first. Eladri wants to go check out. Oh my God, you just said his name. Hello.
Sildar.
Sildar. He wants to go talk with Sildar, and then Bernie and I were thinking that we'd go find Aridel and see if we could maybe find you some help.
Well, I'm pretty much useless with anything that has to do with anything unless somebody can talk to me. So, and you're the only one at this point.
I wouldn't call you useless.
Well, you're the only one that can communicate with me effectively. So, it might be best for me to follow you, but I don't know how much help I can be. Does Eladri need an introduction? Because Sildar and I are pretty close from the limited interactions we've had.
No, that's fair. I mean, we could all go together, and then maybe Bernie and you and I could go find Sister Aridel.
I don't want to be a burden to the party, so whatever works, I'll be there. And you kind of see the look on Domic's face of like, he's not used to being a burden, and he feels like he's a burden at this point. Like, everybody's trying to do everything for him, and he's like, he can't really help. So he's having that kind of thought process.
Eladri, Domic has a pretty good relationship with Sildar. Would you like for us to accompany you to facilitate that conversation?
I would appreciate the envoy and entourage. Yes.
Fabulous. Oh, Bernie, what do you think? You want to do that first, and then we can go find Sister Aridel?
Hey, I'm with the rest of you. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Right. Can I,
And we'll make
can I
it
pop into this shop? I'm not going to the bar. I just
Hey,
need to pop in and drop these off.
Go get greased up.
It's on
Not
the
even,
way.
not
I'll
even
come
gonna
with
say anything too. He's just gonna, hey, put these in the back, and then just leave.
Yeah.
We're going there. We're going to the bar later.
So
Gundry already
you
said
guys
we're,
Toblin's just gonna be like,
to
what the hell?
you walk to the town square, all together. You got Sister Ardel's hut. It's right to your right. You got the Stonehill Inn to your left. And you got the Town Master's Hall right in front of you. And Caitlin's pretty much like, hey, I'm just gonna run outside real quick. I'm gonna do this thing.
That's great.
Yep, that's exactly how he sounds. 100%.
And he does that. And you all just kind of all wait outside for Caitlin. Do you go inside as well? What all do you all do in this moment? Do you just let him run in and handle this?
I think Dominic would have stayed outside. Honestly, I think Domic's probably just keeping his eyes peeled. He's looking over at Sister Aridel's house. Is she home? Like, trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
Like,
Star's
is that
looking
even
the
going to
same.
be a thing?
Oh. I'll say it's pretty not like late, but like late afternoon. Sun is starting to go down. It's starting to get darker. She's not at her shrine, but you do see a light on in her cottage.
Okay.
I think Caitlin, you walk in and it's like walking into Cheers, right? Like the whole bar kind of reacts upon seeing you.
Everybody knows your
Like a
name.
bit. Well, yeah, I mean, literally, yes. Like everybody knows your 5 names in this village.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a local celebrity. So I do think it takes you a little longer than maybe Caitlin would have liked to get out of there, as people want to, buy you a drink. They're happy to see you. They want to know how you've been. Toblin,
and I'll just keep saying, right, we're coming back in just a minute. Just
right.
We'll be
You have
right
to say
back.
that like 30 times.
Yeah.
And eventually you are able to deposit we'll say 20 arrows into their big grease catch that they have. His son is back there like, why do you do that? It's so weird.
Right, I'll explain it when we come back later tonight. But right now, I'm just dropping these off. Lots of
I'm
important
on
business.
this too. I'm trying, Dad. Jeez. And you eventually make your way back out, and you guys begin walking towards the town master's hall. Gungeon's gotten ahead of you, and you've seen they've all kind of disappeared around the corner into the Delverton Miners Exchange just ahead. And you see the horses, and they got kind of stomp and snort a little bit as you approach and kind of eye you. And you can now see that they, where I think, nope, Ku's not here. Staris, you would absolutely recognize the dressings on the horse. These are horses from Neverwinter. These are horses that are ridden by members of the Order of Platinum Knights. The Platinum Knights are like the... Neverwinter doesn't really have like a military because they don't really have a king, but they do have a judicial sector that is a separate branch of the government that doesn't necessarily work like for the rule. It's like its own separate entity, and it kind of works alongside of it. It's the Platinum Courts. The Platinum Courts are in I gotta pull up another spreadsheet. Even you, Saris. It's all of your stuff.
Even me.
It's always you, Saris.
It's always you.
I have like literally hundreds of pages of shit that I've written for this.
Yeah, we really made you go into the archives tonight.
Yeah, right. Oh, fuck me. I don't know what thing it's in. Here, I can find it right here. I'm not as brushed up on my Neverwinter lore as I should be. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Oh, you're so good.
So, broken up into several districts. The Protector's Enclave is the name of the district in which the Platinum Hall is located. It's also where like Neverwinter University is located. It's where a lot of like the legislative work of Neverwinter is done. The other boroughs or neighborhoods are the Blue Lake District. That is like the very affluent district of Neverwinter, where like the wealthiest kind of members of society live. It's very beautiful architecturally. It's home to a lot of like very nice shops, nice eateries. There's fine dining, things like that. You have the Neverwinter Docks, which are kind of down the cliffs, and definitely like a more rough and tumble part of Neverwinter. You have the Tower District, which is where the Holland Tower is located, where the Shard of the Moon is located, where Whitehall Tower is located. These are like the various like tall structures that kind of create the skyline of Neverwinter, if you will. And then you have the Chasm District, which is the district which was most heavily damaged by Mount Hotep's eruption, and has kind of become like a parts of it are slummy, but a lot of it is it's very much a like come and make your own, like stake out your own claim. And there are some good businesses there. There is a lot of like, it's kind of like a bazaar kind of vibe to it in places. It's a lot of buildings built on top of one another to make space. It's a lot of refugees came and created their own homes, and it's where you get a lot more of like the working class people and things like that. If Ku were still with us, Ku lived in the Chasm District and worked in the Protector's Enclave.
Nice.
Staris is also very familiar with all of these districts, obviously being from Neverwinter. Staris, would you like to share which district you're from at this time, or is that something you keep to yourself?
I don't think I'm gonna necessarily talk about that.
Okay. But yeah, so those are essentially the neighborhoods. So you would recognize this. These are knights from the Platinum Courts. And as you guys approach the Townmaster Hall, you can hear what sounds like shouting coming from within.
Wonder what's going on.
Except for you, Dominic, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not catering to my deafness, sir. I need you to do better.
I'm gonna assign to Dominic use caution.
Nice.
There you go.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking
And then he's gonna
Nice.
kind of he'll see you sign that, and he'll kind of get a stoic look and kind of shake his head and nod, knowing what you mean.
We hear shouting inside. Cyrus messages over to Dominic.
Got it. Oh, well, that can't be good.
I guess I'll find out.
I'm just going to approach a little bit closer. Does the shouting become any more clear on who is doing the shouting and what they are saying before we enter the space?
As you kind of listen from the other side of the door, roll me a perception check, Bernie.
Okay. Nice. 17.
Nice. It's hard to make out the exact words. You can definitely make out Sildar's voice. You can make out another voice that you don't recognize, and it sounds very much like a heated argument and less like shouts of battle.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sounds like there's a little bit of bickering going on inside. Should we make our presence known?
I think they'll be happy to hear us or to see us.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what's going on.
Alright.
Bernie's gonna turn to Dominic and nod, and then turn to Eladri and nod as well. And then she's gonna kind of, not carefully at all, but just kind of burst through the door and look over to Sildar, or like walk to where they are and just.
Do you go like full Aragorn and like push the door open and kind of
Yeah.
we're back from our adventure?
Yeah.
Again,
It's
you guys still haven't bathed. You still haven't you're
Yeah.
fresh from like fighting goblin hordes, like and drowls and ghosts and trolls.
Spiders.
and I think Barney like swings the door open and stomps inside, smelling like shit, and just kind of goes, "Aye, you didn't tell us to put our party dresses on. We're not quite ready for this kind of ruckus yet." And
as
like,
you kind of like address the room, making this joke, Bernie, and look up and take the room in, it's like a record scratch moment. You look up and you see Mateo is there, looking incredibly worried. Harbin Webster is nearby. There are 6 knights in full plate armor with some of them have like power shields and like these heavy like spears with them. You see others just have like normal shields and long swords. And you see uh, a 7th knight without a helmet. All the other 6 knights have helmet. They all look almost completely uniform, save just a few variations in their weaponry. And then you see a 6th knight without a helmet. You can see he's got kind of medium length white gray hair. He's completely clean shaven. He's got blue eyes. And you can see he's just sitting there with his arms crossed, like waiting patiently, staring at Sildar, who is red-faced, leaning over a table, just screaming at him. And he kind of like sees you come in as you say this, and you hear Sildar say, "This is ridiculous!" Like as you walk in, and there's like this record scratch moment, and everybody looks to you and sees all of you walking in. Is Pamela still with you? Or is she kind of waiting
She's out.
outside?
Waiting
Okay.
outside, yeah. Yeah.
As the rest of you all just kind of like walk in, sort of following Bernie's lead. And Sildar just kind of like just goes from like red-faced and clearly angry at this white-haired man he's talking to, and just like turns and just lights up, smiles from ear to ear when he sees you, Bernie, and he says, "Thank the gods you're safe. Come in, come in." And he like walks to you. He's like, "We will finish our conversation later, Grayson." And comes to you and he's like, "Come in, my friends, come in. It is so good to see you. Harbin, get the good wine." And you see Harbin kind of like bumbles about a little bit, and goes into his office to fetch some wine to celebrate your all return. My friends, sorry you've got me at a bit of an awkward moment, but it is fantastic to see you all. Hey, look, finding Undren.
As a matter of fact, a lot of luck.
You found him?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Where is he?
he's here.
He's here in Delverton.
That's right. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You truly are heroes. Ah, I'm so glad I managed to buy enough time to stick around long enough to see a return, but I'm afraid my time here in Delverton is short indeed. I must return to Neverwinter post-haste.
Why?
Oh.
Where are you going? Why are you going?
Well, it seems the Baronet here is having a little difficulty with some trouble in Neverwinter, some trouble that I can specifically be of some help to. I can't say much more than that. Other than, if you're ever in Neverwinter, please look me up. Grayson, do we have until tomorrow morning? And you see the white-haired man kind of looks frustrated, and he says, "We leave at first light. Me and my men will be staying at the Sleeping Giant. Sildar, you are coming with us. Do you want to or not?" Sildar says, "There's no need for all of that. I will return with you." And you see like all the knights begin to kind of like march at like a signal from the man called Grayson. And begin like marching in uniform out of the building past you. And as Grayson kind of walks past you, he just acknowledges you, Bernie. Just kind of like looks down at you. There's no like, malicious intent or anything like that, but you do get a sense of this man comes from authority. Please ignore all of that. It's just business, I'm afraid. I had hoped for more aid, for more help to Delverton, but it seems like that won't be coming. Delverton will very soon be left to their own devices. But you have good news. You found Gundren alive. I do hope. Oh God! Please don't leave me hanging. Horribly long pause.
I'm sorry, it's been a long travel and we're all a little weary from the road, but absolutely, we found Gundren and he's wetting his whistle as we speak. We're going to go meet him later, down at the pub.
Good lad.
Hey.
Well, come, sit. At this point, Harbin comes out. He and Mateo, they have several glasses, and he begins pouring some wine for you guys. Mateo and Harbin, I think, are doing their best to ignore the scent that you guys are all giving. Sildar doesn't seem to mind at all. He's just, again, just filled with some proud and the emotions at seeing you all. Please tell us of your journey. You guys begin to, kind of regale as much or as little as you would like to Sildar.
I think before we break into stories, I think Bernie does give a look to Dominic and Staris, should we first let him know why Domic's a bit quieter than normal?
I've noticed. What's going on, Dominic? We fought together. We're brothers, you and I.
Stars has kind of given Dominic broad strokes, I think, at this point about the knights and the shouting, and it seems like Sildar needs to go somewhere tomorrow morning.
And I think Sildar picks up on that, and his expression kind of begins to shift, and he realizes something's kind of off, something's kind of wrong. My friends, what is it?
At that point, when Dominic sees Sildar's expression change, I think he'll look him in the eye and he'll point to his ears and then cover them and just put an X in front of his head or his body.
He's lost his hearing.
Sildar's face gets pretty grave at this point, at this, realization. His brow kind of furrows as he looks at Dominic. What happened?
From what we can gather, Dominic was contacted through another plane by some eldritch being. Using Ku's spellbook. And what resulted was...
And at this point, I
something-
think you see Sildar looks around and he goes, Ku, where is he?
That's the lesser joyful part of the story. We're not quite sure. We lost him along the way. Or rather, he lost himself. We're not quite sure. And
Still
yeah.
alive?
Don't know. We're here to talk
Sorry.
to Aradel to find out if we can contact him.
Well, if anyone could help, she's very capable. For Dominic and his affliction, you said it happened because of Ku's spellbook.
I think Ku's spellbook was the medium, but some being used whatever power was there.
Sorry, can you say that one more time? You broke up a little bit.
Yeah. I think Ku's spellbook was the medium, but this being somehow channeled the power there.
You have no idea who or what this being is.
Dominic would have the best idea.
Dominic?
Right, he said it was a king, but it wasn't King Silver Lock.
Silverlock's been dead for nearly 80 years.
Oh,
Dominic,
it's
this
nothing.
being, what did it look like?
Dominic, what did the king creature look like?
Dominic's gonna try to explain it. Honestly, even he Stars, even if I try to explain it, it doesn't make fully sense to me. But I suppose I can try drawing it. And I guess I'll pull out a piece of paper and see if I can kind of recreate what I remember seeing in bits and pieces of my mind right now.
You, to the best of your ability, sketch out the horror that you're being forced to relive in this moment. And Sildar studies it. I don't recognize it. May I have this?
Yes.
If I am to return to Neverwinter, maybe I can do some good while I'm there. I have ample resources. Maybe through those resources I can find more out about this figure.
Any help is appreciated. And also, Bernie's going to kind of shift to the side and motion over towards Eladri. We met a new friend along the way. Sildar, this is Eladri.
Sildar Hawthorne, pleasure to meet you. If these can vouch for you, then that's good enough for me.
Yep. Eladri sticks out a hand to shake with a greeting.
Sildar shakes your hand firmly, and as he does so, Eladri, you see he looks at your harp pen with, you see a flash of recognition in his eyes. And he kind of gives you a nod and a smile.
A wink back. I was told you're now in charge Now you're leaving. Wow.
No,
I
I have
wonder why
never claimed.
Delverton is hard to reach. Everything
I've never-
changes so fast here.
No, I have never claimed to be in charge of Delverton. That was always Harbin Webster's responsibility. A responsibility he, for a time, failed to perform. Even he admits this himself. I maybe didn't act in the city's best interest, but I am making an effort now. He says, kind of embarrassed. Sildar kind of gives like a smirk. I arrived here, I guess, similar to yourself, Eladri. These adventurers are responsible for me being in Delverton. If it weren't for them, I'd be flayed alive in some goblin cave several miles north of here. They saved me. They brought me here. I intended to come here with Gungeon Rockseeker, who had hired these folks to supply mining equipment for an expedition he believed in. I thought it would be a simple journey. I was very wrong in that assumption. But I saw that work needed to be done in Delverton, and people needed to be motivated. He kind of looks back at Harbin. So I stayed and did what I could. But no, Harbin is the town master, at least for now. There will be elections in, I believe, a 10-day from now. And Harbin does no longer run unopposed. So he'll have to prove his leadership moving forward. I am fated to return to Neverwinter, it appears, at first light tomorrow morning. With the wonderful and pleasant Neverwinter nights you just met.
Why is that? Why have you got to go?
How familiar are you with Neverwinter, Sir Kinlan?
Well, not terribly familiar, I suppose.
Do you know anything of Castle Ilsilia?
No.
Castle Ilsilia was the home of the Silverlock family before their death.
In that
and
case,
disappear.
yes.
So yeah, actually, yeah, Nat 20 history check. You would know that that was King Silverlock's home, and the castle has fallen into disrepair in the decades since his death.
Right, is Gagolt still there?
Well, Dagolt's,
Dagolt?
back to my notes, because there's two Embers in relation. We're doing the right one.
The fact that Kitlin called his name wrong is on brand, which is hilarious.
He's right.
Totally.
Yeah. Dagolt's Emir has never lived in Castle Ilsilvia. He has his own home in the Blue Lake District, but he has greatly increased his efforts in the restoration of the castle, believing it serves as a symbol to the city and a symbol to the city's recent prosperity. He has not been able to dedicate as much resources as he would like to the reconstruction of the castle, because he is having problems with criminal interference. The Blue Lake District, for all of its beauty, has a somewhat nefarious underbelly. Have you ever heard of the group Optics? Staris, without needing to roll, you have 1,000% heard of Optics.
Okay.
Optics, spelled OPTX, is kind of known as a gang in Neverwinter.
Okay.
Roll me a history check, Staris.
Sure. And I think Stars would have mentioned um, about the knights and knowing like where they're from without really revealing where she's from.
Cool. Um,
Ooh.
okay. You know optics because you've seen, like, they basically have graffiti that they leave around Neverwinter, and it's a big problem in Blue Lake, mostly because Blue Lake makes it a problem. But it is kind of prominent there. But I mean, even in like the Chasm District, you see it in the Protectors Enclave, maybe not as much in the Tower District, definitely down in the Docks District. It's very common to see the OPTX in a very stylized kind of symbol. So I
Okay.
think you've seen it just because you've seen it and you've lived in the city. Um, they've been getting bolder. They've been causing more problems. Lord Imbyr is putting heavy pressure on all of his allies, including those that are members of the Lord's Alliance, to help him resolve this matter as swiftly as possible. And everyone else and the other members of the Lord's Alliance, they agree with him. They agree that the problems that are being caused in Neverwinter outweigh the problems that are now currently happening in Delverton, especially with the recent liberation from the Red Brands, and now that the matter with Ian Albrecht has been resolved. Oh, actually, shit, he doesn't know that. Now that the Red Brands have been liberated, it's unfortunate that the matter with Ierno couldn't be resolved, but he's no longer a threat to Delverton, it appears. That is good enough for them. And as he says this, you realize that he doesn't yet know the fate of Ierno. And if you guys want to take a moment to think about what you want to do with that information, I have to pee. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't seem like Sildar is not on our side. So do we just want to like spill everything that we know, or is there anything we want to hold to our chests? Or
Right, he does seem like an ally. I feel comfortable telling him what happened.
yeah, I mean, because we also
I'd
have
like
all
to-
of the.
Tell him about the mines too. See if he knows anything,
Oh,
any entry points or anything like that.
Or just maybe echoing cave, you mean?
Yeah,
Maybe just ask about that.
I mean, we can tell him about
Maybe we
the
don't-
wizard and the Ethereum, and say that there was two armies that were coming here,
right.
yeah, to search for these things, and what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah.
The only issue is that Eladri's gonna hear this too, so Dylan,
True. True.
be
Yep.
good.
Yeah. I know.
Stars is whispering to everybody.
Yes.
Audrey doesn't hear.
Oh my god! Literal whisper campaign.
That's so silly.
I mean, I guess I already told him about it though, right?
I guess that's fair.
I told him about the mines at least.
Yes, I think so.
Who's told? Yeah, I think Sildar knows about the mines and the Ethereum because you told him about.
Okay,
your
yeah,
first,
that's right.
Your
That's
Yeah.
first interaction with the Ierno.
Well,
And
I
he
guess,
kind of had
yeah,
the
so
same reaction that everybody's had. Is like, yo, Echo Mine has always been like just a legend, you know.
but I think we agreed, and stop me if I'm wrong. We're gonna tell him that there was two armies, goblins and the spider folk, that were gonna come to Delverton, to those mines to look for the Ethereum, and I'll tell him about the goblin king and what happened.
At this point, Kitlin, you would know that the pale spider, already has the Ethereum. At this point, I think you guys have deduced that the pale spider. I feel like we've already had this realization, and forgive me if I'm like just spilling the beans at this point. But I think, right, because it was the Ierno. I think Ierno was the one that told you guys this, that the pale spider has made Echo Cave like her hideout. the goblins were coming to Delverton because they knew Delverton was like a community that they could then explore the Sword Mountains to the south of here and try to find Echo Cave. The goblins basically wanted to invade the Pale Spider and take the riches from her cave that they have discovered by, you know, kind of kidnapping Gundren and learning what they learned from that.
Okay. Thank you. Because I did not remember that.
I don't
So
think
that's
we
good.
knew that, but we do now.
I'm pretty sure you guys did.
Alright.
Because Ierno wanted the meeting.
We knew that everybody was after Echo Cave. We knew that Gundren knew the location of Echo Cave. We knew that they were both trying to invade Delverton to get the cave, the resources from the cave.
The goblins were the only ones that were going to invade Delverton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. I could also be forgetting too, for sure. So the goblins were going to invade Delverton, and then Gundren knew the location of the cave.
I'm pretty sure Ierno was the one that told you Ethereum was discovered in the Echo Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because he had researched, and he knew that the Pale Spider was from the Echo Cave because he had like researched that, and he had somehow caught winds that the dwarves had discovered it. And that's like the missing connection because he was also looking for Gundren, so he kind of knew that the dwarves had found Echoing Cave because he knew what Echoing Cave was, the home of the Ethereum, but he also knew it was protected by the spider. Gundren knew that his brothers had found something, but he didn't know that it was Echo Cave, this famous legend. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the big mystery is like, how the fuck did Ierno know about the dwarves' discovery? That's still kind of like up in the air. And then the goblins figured it out because they kidnapped like Gundren and tortured him, and they were like, hey, we found out something, like, you know, that you discovered. And then the goblin, because he was like a treasure hunter and a treasure seeker, he assumed that it was Echo Cave correctly because he knows that there is a mythical like treasure vault essentially hidden in these hills somewhere, and he was been obsessed with finding treasure his whole life. So when he found a dwarf with like an expedition, he kind of just like assumed that this was it, and was like, this was what fueled his frenzy to then go invade Delverton to go find it. It was basically what radicalized him and made him believe what he believed. So
Gotcha.
that's like the main story. And if that wasn't what it was, it is now retcon.
Beautiful, love it. Stars is whispering all of this to Dominic.
But I think this is like all of like this is what you guys have all pieced together, right? This is the knowledge that you all kind of have at this point.
Right.
Well, I think unless you want to roleplay at all, I think we've agreed to kind of tell him everything that's happened since we saw him last.
Okay,
with,
cool.
Like, in
Yeah.
story beats.
So he knows that
no secrets.
So he knows Ierno is dead. You've confirmed the presence of drow activity because you confronted them and you killed one. You've told him about the goblin invasion and how they've been mostly slain. They still have a presence and
They have a new
someone
queen.
with cunning and power to rule them, but someone who does appear to have no interest in waging war against humans, but like also don't go into the woods anytime soon.
Yeah, who knows what Babin's cooking?
And don't
then
fuck
you've told him
mosquitoes.
Yeah, don't fuck with the mosquitoes.
And then you told him about Food's disappearance. You tell him about the book. And well, I guess you have. You told him about the book. You told him about the god things. He knows everything.
Right.
So does Harbin and so does Mateo. Because they were in the room with you guys. It's like it started with like one bottle of wine. There's like now 10 bottles of wine on the table. And
We're
I
going
think,
drinking later with Gundren.
Right.
oh yeah, and I think
I'm
like,
gonna need a nap.
but there's a lot of you, and I think Harbin and like I think Mateo drank most of them, and it's one of those things where I think you guys you do trust the people in this room. We know Harbin's a bit of a fuck up, but he's only fucking up to like serve himself, like
Yeah.
with no roles needed. He is not part of like some big deep conspiracy. He was just like a selfish kind of lazy banker that was given responsibility and dropped the fucking ball. But you have seen him making legitimate efforts to try to do better.
Mhm.
Now, when Sildar leaves, whether he'll continue to make those legitimate efforts remains to be seen. But for the moment, these people are people that you can see the good in them. And you share this story with them. And I think Mateo and Harbin are 1,000% out of their depths as they realize the scale of what is happening all around them. But I think there's also that sense
It
of
is
like this
fucked.
is like absolutely yes. There's also that sense of this is what stories that we all grew up like, having read to us when we were children, like what they're made of. And so there's also like a desire to want to be kind of close to it and adjacent to it because they recognize the significance of it. Excuse me. Because they recognize the significance of it. And as you share everything with us, you see that Sildar is just taking it in. He's just fully locked in. And I think each of you kind of like will take over parts of the storytelling, and have your own perspectives to it. And like occasionally he'll ask questions for clarity, but they're very succinct and he just lets you talk and he just absorbs all of it. And once you finish, he kind of takes it all in and he takes a moment. Harbin, I think, is like maybe just flabbergasted. His eyes are wide, his mouth is agape. He's completely clueless. Mateo's like on the verge of a panic attack, and Sildar's just very stoic, kind of shakes his head, and he says, "My friends, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for trusting me with this information. You have friends at the Lord's Alliance, and I feel that what you have stumbled into, but it might just be bigger than all of us. I will see what I can find out about this." And he kind of like pats his chest where he pocketed the drawing that Dominic did for him. "I urge you, continue pulling this thread, see where it leads. We may be on the verge of either a wonderful boon or a great calamity, but if you have a chance to stop it in its tracks, whatever it may be, this world would owe you a debt it wouldn't even know." I'm sorry, I'm maybe making a mountain out of a molehill. Arvin, you all right, my friend? Jeez, Mateo. By the gods. All right, I think that might be enough regaling your adventure. We've done quite a bit of damage to this wine, and I believe Gundren may be waiting for us. What say we rally and meet him at the Stonehill's lovely tavern? Harbin, get some rest. You're going to need it. You have quite the campaign ahead of you. Miss Thornton is not to be underestimated. You see Harbin kind of like nods and wipes the spittle off of his chin, kind of like, rubs his, vest and tries to make himself a little bit cleaner. Mateo begins cleaning stuff up. Sildar gets up. "I fear you have a tough road ahead of you, my friends. Ladry, hell of a time to join the band. Come on." And he starts to lead you. Yeah, sorry. How did you want to respond?
I don't think I've been in a room with so many so accomplished. And I'm sorry that you've lost so much. But I find a friend as many. And these folk, we all seem to do good. So
Maybe we're all just too stubborn to stop trying.
I, sometimes I don't
Kind of.
even really know what I'm doing anymore. It's kind of just one foot after the other, isn't it?
Sildar puts his arm around you, Bernie, and he says, "That's how I know you're one of the good ones." It, clearly a little bit more wine drunk than his stoic demeanor was letting on. He kind of leads you all out of the townmaster hall, still kind of nodding to himself, still kind of digesting the information that you all just shared with him. You get outside, there's definitely a chill to the air. The sun has fully gone down as you've been talking for some time, and it's dark. And you can hear the familiar kind of roar coming from the Stonehill Tavern. Except for you, Dominic, you can't hear shit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love you so much.
I feel included.
I'm whispering to you all of the things.
Yes.
I need you to make the sounds that I should be hearing. I'm sure as a performer you could probably do it.
And I think, like, because Staris, you were, like, hanging in the back and, like, translating for Dominic and keeping him in the loop, Bernie, you and Kitlin were really handling a lot of the storytelling there.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, Ladry, you and Mateo and Harbin and Sildar were just kind of soaking it all up.
Mhm.
And as you step out, you know, into the chilly night air, the horses are now gone. You remember... the man called Grayson said he was going to be staying at the Sleeping Giant, so the Sleeping Giant Inn is now open for business. But you guys are more interested, I think, in the Stonehill Tavern, the establishment that you have already stayed in several times before, a family you know very well. Kitland, you are stoking your arrows in their grease as we speak. There, I think, was some interest in speaking with Sister Aradel, but it has gotten a little late. Do you guys still want to try to do that? Do you want... There is the Miners' Exchange is pretty much directly across from you. You don't know if Gundren is still there or if he's already at the Stonehill Tavern. You could also head to the Sleeping Giant Inn if you have any interest in speaking with Grayson. I mean, the world is your oyster. But it does look like Sildar is expecting to head to the tavern.
Maybe we should get a room. It wouldn't hurt to clean up a little.
It's probably a good idea.
As adventurers are wont to do, you definitely kind of got swept up in the, you know, what needed to be done, especially with the setting sun. You guys haven't really given yourselves a chance to catch your breath since you've got here. Sorry, Dominic, I think I might have cut you off.
Nope, I wasn't saying anything. You're good.
Oh, okay, cool.
I
So
think just as we walk into the Stonehill Tavern,
immediate roar of like applause and cheers as you step in and the crowd recognizes you.
and Barty just kind of like, hangs back just a second at the door, wait until Dominic walks up, and she's just gonna kind of gently place a hand on his shoulder and look up at him and smile and signal, "Are you okay?" up at him.
Dominic will see you make the sign of like, how are you? And you see a smile on his face, but you've been traveling with him long enough that you can see in his eyes that he's upset that he can't do more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you see that he's still trying to figure out how he can help the group.
Mm-hmm. And Bernie just smiles and nods and gives him a little pat on the arm and a little squeeze.
And I think like as you have that moment, like Sildar like walks through the saloon doors, with Staris and Kitland and Eladri, the new guy, and you hear like the what? And, like cheers and whistles and hollers as Bernie, you and Dominic are kind of having this, more tender moment. Dominic, obviously you can't hear the cheers, but Bernie, they kind of echo behind you. Kitland, do we want to just say that like Pamela was left at Barthen's Provisions when like the donkeys and horses were being stabled because she's already very comfortable there? Or do you kind of still think she's traveling with you guys and just sort of waiting outside in case she's needed?
I think she came with us to the first meetup, but I can go drop her and then come back without like any story needed there. Maybe just a hello to the little teenagers and.
Well, it's fully up to you if that's like what you ultimately want for her. If you want to just like wiggle that in wherever it wants to happen.
I think pop her back over there. I mean, it's just down the street,
Okay,
right?
cool.
So I'll just run over.
Yeah, it's a small town.
Some more hellos and whatnot to what was her name? Elmira.
Elmira. It's a dialect thing. It can be said both ways. She actually says it, Elmira. In her native. But I'm not doing that voice all the time, so but that's what she actually sounds like. So yeah, we'll say like you do a quick like pop in and meet and greet and eventually find time to like
I think
run over there.
Pamela's excited about seeing the old goats and chickens that
Oh.
she's quite a bit of time with.
Definitely. I think maybe you like get some food at one point, at the Stone Hill Tavern and like sneak her out some, and then that's when maybe you take her over or whatever. But it can kind of just organically happen at some point. And then so Bernie, you just have this like really nice kind of check-in moment with Dominic, and you do see that you see the struggle, and Dominic, I think for you too, you're trying really hard to stay focused. You're trying really hard to kind of compensate, right? But those words just keep echoing in your mind, right? Your mind will shatter. I will be called king, and you can't do a thing to stop it. Music begins to play in the tavern as you guys enter. People are so excited to see you return. You are heroes of Delverton. I mean, you conquered the evil bandits that came in, and took over this town. You ran out the evil wizard. You've brought like prosperity, right? Like new work is coming, new people are like you left to go save a merchant, right, that could potentially bring more business into the town. And not only did you bring the merchant back, you came back in with a caravan of new people who want to work and like bring more community and like, and not just workers but like families, so like you are like all of the locals, and you actually maybe see some of like the people from the caravan have made their way here. Obviously you see the Stonehill family. You see some other people that you recognize from your previous time here, but again, you are like local celebrities here. Like you are the coolest kids at this high school, and you were just loved. Like you were given free food, you were given free drink, you were obviously given rooms, baths if you want. The
Yes,
night
please.
is yours, and you do find when you enter, you do find Gundren. Eventually, when you guys get there, I don't think he's there. And then eventually, like maybe like a few hours into the night, I think you kind of get lost in the revelry of it all and the celebration of it all. And then you do finally find him, and you see that he's like kind of all washed up. He's cleaned up. He's freshly shaven. He doesn't wear a beard. His hair is combed back, and he kind of comes in and begins mingling with the crowds. And eventually, as it gets pretty late,
there becomes a moment where you all find a chance to sit down. But I don't necessarily want to speed through this celebration. Is there anything you guys would like to do during this kind of party? This welcome home party is almost what it feels like for you. That's being thrown for you at the Stonehill Tavern.
Elandri, are you a drinker?
Not too terribly much. Don't have the stomach for too many. Even though winning.
Are you sandbagging me like you did in the arrow contest?
Aladri, what are you drinking right now? Are you like a tea drinker, or are you do you only drink water? Are you like what does Aladri drink when he goes to the tavern?
No, it is wine. It's a white wine. I like to keep it as light as my hair.
Hey,
Blood.
Right, I think a contest is in order. Cheers, Ernie.
Yeah. I can't say no to that.
Toblin,
hi.
I think yeah, we've got a contest. If you could help us out, bring us a try.
All right. What's the wager? What's the prize?
What's your favorite drinking game? And do you want to be a part of it?
No, I'm so busy tonight. I gotta keep my wits about me. I'll do one with you. I'll do one with you to start you off, like a starter crossbow. But I can't be going shot for shot for your head instead of all this whole rowdy lot. But my favorite drinking game. Well, my favorite drinking game. There's a lot of good ones out there. Do you know Coppers?
I don't think I've played it.
Alright, so Coppers is you all have your glass, right? And you put it about as A4 in front of you, and you take a copper piece and you try to hit the copper piece off the bar into the drink, and then down your drink. And the first person to get through all of their drinks first is the winner.
D&D quarters.
All right. Well, I'm game for that. Galadri?
At least to try, once for sport.
Yeah, that's the
Darius,
spirit.
Bernie, Dom? I'll just signal to Dom.
Cyrus
yeah.
whispers what's going on. And
Thank you for
also
being.
responds, "Oh, you can count me out. I think I'd like a bath."
Yeah. My interpreter is gonna go away.
You see.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Oh, no.
Unless you want to.
Yeah.
You see, what's her name? Elena, Toblin's wife. Like, yeah, she's got like your bath is all ready for you, Staris. I think that was like one of the first things when Staris like got in. She like went to the bar and found Trelena, and she's like, and Trelena's like, yeah, I got you, girl. And just like immediately got your bath started. So as Kitlin's like getting everyone riled up, as like the party's starting to go off a little bit, Staris is like, yeah, bye. Yeah, and same thing. It's like a kind of like a private spot, out in the back. It's got like a nice little like wooden kind of barricade, like on on all sides, and you kind of have to like turn to get out of it. So nice little private area. But it's kind of nice and lovely out under the stars, and it's cold out. But once you get in that hot water, it feels really good.
Right, is there a dartboard in this establishment?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Eladri, after the drinking game, how about a game of darts?
Gillen's just lining up the competition with Electric.
I'd love to run a marathon with you. Would you like to do that after that?
Let's start with these 2 games. My accuracy only gets better after I've had a few drinks.
So who's doing the drinking game?
I will do something kind of weird, but Bernie's gonna take like the first drink with them, and then like as they're starting to get more drunk, she's actually gonna try and bow out if she can, to attempt to go do something else.
Okay.
Is that because drinking is only bad in D&D and it only hurts you?
No.
There's no benefits whatsoever.
Bernie desperately wants to drink, but I think that I mean, yeah. So I think that there's like a lot of. I think Bernie's having a little bit of a, not an existential crisis, but a little bit of a just like can't let go of all the things that have been happening and can't
relax just yet.
Can't relax and can't really
Yeah.
ease into that drinking and partying, and almost feels a little like disconnected from everything right now, because it's like checking in with Dominic and he's like, you know, kind of feeling weird, and then like Koo is still in the back of her mind, and then like everything with her village that's you know, it's like all these things are feeling a little intense, I think, and she's not quite sure how to put that together. So I think the only way that she feels like she can start putting that together is really keep looking for answers. So instead of enjoying herself, I think she's gonna like take a drink and sneak out to see if Aradel is still up or not tonight.
Okay.
But that can be like a separate thing. I think that she's
No,
gonna
I
act
love
like she's
this.
having fun, but like eventually when people start getting drunk and rowdy, she's gonna try and sneak out.
No, I love this. I love
And
how
I'm
this
just
is all.
trying to bury it all down, pretend it's not happening, and
Right.
fill the coup hole with Eladri.
Yeah.
That's like 170-year-old, gnome shit, dude. Like, no, I love this. I think, yeah, like Hitler, you kind of really trying to get this like quarters game going, kind of sensing maybe that everyone's vibes are maybe a little off, and using this as a way to like, get everyone to just have some fun. And Ladry's just sort of like sipping his white wine, and like Tobin's like it does like the first shot with you, and so does Bernie, and you're like starting to bounce the coppers, and maybe Bernie does a few unenthusiastically. Eladri and Kitlin, actually go ahead and just give me straight sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand with a rogue. That's gonna be rough, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is.
That's investigation.
Oh, that is investigation.
Oh no. Okay.
That is investigation.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Nice,
with a
gotta reroll.
No.
Good
How
call.
does this? Okay.
how does this work?
Sleight of
It's
hand.
right next to sleight of hand.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, 100%. That's what I thought.
So like Kitlin like lines up all the glasses and like flicks the copper off the counter and like stinks it like beautifully, and then like Eladri like takes like 3 pieces of copper in between his fingers and like flips all 3 at the same time and goes like ting 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 like all 3, and then just goes back to his white wine. And then this moment where Kitlin's like, all right, well, I don't want to play anymore. It's just like every game you challenge Eladri to, he's just really good at. It's kind of
Does
like
that
this
mean
other
I'm
person. I
drinking
know.
1 shot and he's drinking 3 though?
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are, but free will's a thing. It's up to Eladri whether or not he drinks it. But when it comes to the game of actually flipping the coin into the shot glass, it's stunning how good he is at it. And there is a little bit of camaraderie and I think joyfulness in it. But yeah, Bernie, eventually you do slip out. Goblin, definitely has like, different, customers. And I guess the allure of the Coppers game wears off, and maybe you guys like meander over to the dartboard. Bernie, as you make your way outside, you see there is a little bit of dim light coming from Aradel's hut. but not much. You want to approach?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll approach the front door and just kind of. Bernie stands there for a second, looks around, and kind of shifts her feet, and then gives a light tap on the door.
There's a beat, and you hear some movement, and finally the door opens, and you see, the elvish woman, Sister Ardell, whom you've met many times. Her, elvish, I think, youthful appearance kind of masks her age, her wisdom. She recognizes you and says, "Oh, Bernie, it's good to see you. I didn't realize you were all back. I'm glad you're safe."
I'm sorry to bother you so late. We just got
It's no
back in
bother.
this evening. I also know that I smelled a high hill,
I
but
smelled worse, if you can believe it. In fact, I believe I've smelled worse.
Well, I won't take too much of your time. I just, there's lots to tell you. We met your friend, the Dorate, the Banshee.
Agatha.
Aye.
Yeah?
She's to rest now. Let's put it that way.
Good. Good. That's wonderful. Your friends did well. Are you
Hey.
okay?
I'm fine. However, we need help, and I don't think I'll be getting much rest tonight unless I can try and figure out the next step to make that happen. A friend, Domik, you met him.
Mhm.
Tall lad, nice fella, great warrior. He seemed to have lost his hearing. And although I've healed before with my magics and my learning, I've never healed a brain.
I understand.
Can you help me figure out how to do that? Or can you do it? Can you help him get his hearing back?
I will happily take a look and help in any way I can. Would you like to bring him by?
Aye, that would be grand.
Give me an hour. I need to go gather some things and bring him here.
Hey, I'll be back in just a bit. I hope he's not too drunk, but maybe that'll help. And then Bernie's just gonna kind of turn around. Thank you. And then she's gonna run back to the tavern.
She kind of watches you with a little concern on her face and smiles as you, kind of run off to go get Domik. You head back to the tavern. Killin and Aladri are in a very close and intense game of darts. Doris, I think you're kind of finishing up your bath now if you want to be returning. Nice and fresh and clean. Unless you want to just stay out there and soak till your heart's content. That is fully up to you. Or do anything else you'd like to do. Dominic, what have you been kind of up to this whole time?
I think Dominic, seeing how quarters went, or not quarters, coppers, and kind of just chuckling to himself a little bit, seeing Aladri do it again with all of the games, and knowing what Dominic knows from just the perception of Aladri, he's like, yeah, that makes sense. I think he probably would have slipped away and gone to a room and kind of done the same thing Staris would have done, just not as
Okay.
eccentric. I think he would have gone just back to a room with like a water basin and started like taking off of his armor and like
Okay.
examining his bruises, the many bruises he probably has, and just kind of like wiping off the grime and the sweat off his body and just trying to clean up as best as he can without taking a full bath, because he isn't used to that kind of luxury. He's just used to pits and privates and keep going, and that's all you got to clean. And so he just kind of looks, and there's probably some sort of mirror or some sort of glass, a reflective glass in the room, and he just kind of stares at himself, kind of just getting his head wrapped around in the candlelight of the room, looking at all the scars and all the cuts and everything he has all over his body from just the chest up. He's basically just taking off his armor to just go look over himself at this point. I think he's just kind of in his room doing that. This whole time he's just been kind of slowly trying to figure out again what he wants to do. He's thinking to himself, I mean, I have these powers, do I keep using them? But that could put the team in more danger. Like, what do I do? And I think he sees, he might see, like, from taking his armor off, the tarot card deck in his armor breastplate.
Okay.
And I think he'll have pulled the deck out at this point.
Okay.
And is just going to
I'm just,
consult
like,
the deck.
Imagining this really cool, like, kind of contrast, like if this was a show to watch, like,
Yeah.
going back and forth between like Staris kind of having this like really relaxing, peaceful, like starlit night as she's taking like a full hot bath, probably even singing to herself, and then cut to just like pure silence because you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
You're like taking off your armor and like wiping the wounds away, and just like the contrast in that is really
well.
Really cool.
And I'm thinking like it's cutting to Stara singing to herself, cutting to Domic who's in pure silence, maybe even a ringing in his ears, to then cutting down to downstairs and all the revelry and all the partying and everything that's super loud and boisterous, and then cutting back to Domic where it's just silence, kind of like Baby Driver. If you guys ever saw Baby Driver.
Yes.
Kind of like that, where it's just like that. Just it's like a break in the reality of like, oh, that's like he's missing out on so much. And I think that's where that ringing kind of starts low and it gets louder and louder and louder, and then he sees out of the corner of his eye the deck in his armor, in his breast armor.
Yeah.
And then
as you pull the deck out.
Yeah. I think he's gonna kind of have his armor on the foot of the bed, not on the bed, but at the foot of the bed. It's still gross because he hasn't cleaned any of that. But he's gonna kneel, kind of like he'll bring the candle down to the floor. He'll kneel and kind of open up the tarot deck, put the kind of uncrease the silk like sheet that's in it that has the eye on it, and he'll kind of press out all the wrinkles, make it kind of as flat as possible on the floor with the eye up, and he'll take the deck and he'll kind of subconsciously start kind of fluttering with the deck, shuffling it, and like just doing it without even thinking about it. It's just kind of second nature at this point of just like playing with the deck, moving cards around, shuffling it back in and out, and that kind of thing. And he's just thinking to himself, he'll put the deck down, he'll cut it and put it into two different piles, and he'll kind of close his eyes and think to himself, is this the heart of the cards? Heart of the cards.
Yes.
He'll kind of think to himself, is this ailment fixable? Am I going to be okay? Is his first thought. and then he's gonna pull the first card on the left deck. And he pulls
As
a
you flip
Blue Eyes
the-
White Dragon. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
You flip the card, and it's a card you've seen before, Dominic.
Okay.
Card you drew in your first drawing.
Oh, great.
It was the third card you drew. It's the image of a broken hand mirror,
Hmm.
and you can see a fractured face in the splintering glass. You draw the card, the broken one.
Okay. I think Dominic kind of chuckles to himself, and he's now he's thinking to himself, well, that's even more so than the last time I drew this. All right. Is my next move to head to Neverwinter or to try to look for the cave? And he's going to draw another card.
It's another card you've drawn before, Dominic. This was also from your first drawing. You know what card it is?
If I drew the broken one the first time, I have it in my notes. Where is it? Nope, not that. This. Where did they go? I have too many notes.
Tell me about it. Dominic, you draw the Master of Stars card.
Yep, there it is, the stars. Okay.
You draw the Wizard card.
Yep. I do remember that because that was, I akin that to coup. Alright. Alright, well, is this talking about coup or is this talking about a powerful wizard in Neverwinter? Or could this be talking about the cave? Is there a weird hermit wizard in the cave? Great. Even more questions. Stupid deck. So Domic's getting a little frustrated at this point. All right. I think the next thing
Grumpy
that's
Bob.
really
Grumpy Bob.
yeah. I guess the next pressing thing he has on his mind is the bloodied hand coming for me?
I think at this point, Ernie, you have come back into the cavern looking for Dominic. And Dominic, you said you had shuffled the deck and cut it into two piles,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So for the third draw, how are you drawing that?
I drew the first two from the left pile. I'll draw the last one from the right.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you drew like the top from the left and then the top from the right.
Oh. I mean, yeah, that works too. I was kind of, yeah, that would make sense. Dominic would have been going back and forth.
Okay, and so then let's say you're shuffling like both piles.
Yep.
To then like ask your third question.
Yeah, he would have
and-
taken them all together and shuffled them back together. Yeah.
And as you formulate your third question and go to draw, I think Bernie, that's when you knock on Dominic's door to come find him.
Hey, you hear from the outside. Knock, 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 knock. Dominic, I'm sorry to bug you, but it's important business. And Bernie's gonna like jiggle the door handle a little bit. I think that Sister Airedale will see you now, but we got to go now. Got tonight. Come on now, open the door.
Dominic hears none of this.
But that's right. Oh yeah. Bernie runs that realization and opens the door.
So Dominic, let me ask you this.
Yep.
And whatever you say, is canon.
Yep.
Considering Domic's state of mind, his condition, everything he's going through, and what he's come in here to do, would Domic have locked the door?
No. I think he would have been so busy in his mind, it would have just slipped his mind.
Roll me a... Where's the thing? Roll me a d20 and a d10.
All right. D20. It is a 7 on the D20.
Okay.
And on the D10, I'll do it on D&D Beyond, and that is a 3.
Interesting. Domic, you draw a new card. You draw a card from the Cups suit. And on this card, there are two hands grasped around the handles of, or not handles, the necks, or stems, I guess, of two different goblets.
Yep.
One hand has looks like they're wearing rags on their arm. Their hands are kind of dirty, their fingernails are kind of dirty, and their goblet is a simple clay goblet. The other hand, you can see they're dressed in silks, they have rings, their fingernails are clean, and they have like a gem-crusted goblet. And both are like clinking together.
Okay.
And it's the Two of Cups that you draw. And you can see kind of like adorned on the man's, jewelry and finery is this holy symbol. And the card itself is called the Holy Symbol. Roll me an insight check, Domic.
Okay. Cocked. That is a natural 20.
Awesome.
For a 22.
Domic, you realize the creator of this deck had a sense of humor.
Oh yeah, I figured that out a long time ago.
This card seems to be suggesting a holy man sharing his drink with a poor man. But you see a deeper meaning. You see influence. Those who spread wisdom and faith to others. But you know that that kind of wisdom and that kind of faith also brings fear and ignorance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every god has its devil. Every Eden, its bedlam. So you see the irony in it. And the question you asked, you realize just how connected you are to this figure. And that's when you sense Bernie standing right behind you. Bernie, you see in Domic's hand this deck with strange drawings and wild design. I'll be right back. I have to pee again. I drink too much beer. Talk about it.
Okay.
Ah!
Yep. I figured out this would have been the first time that Bernie would have saw it. That makes sense.
Yeah,
And I think Domic would not have. He definitely would not have locked the door. He would have just been like too much in his brain.
Yeah. And I mean, Bernie's storming in because she realizes, oh shit, he can't hear me.
Yeah. After you
I
start
need
yelling
to
through the
make
door.
my-
Yeah.
yeah. I need to make my presence known.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. So this is the first time
Meanwhile,
Bernie has seen the
Caitlin
deck.
and Eladri
are just getting drunk in the bottom of the bar, and Staris is having a great little dip.
Splish, splash, splish, splash.
Splish splash. Yeah. Yeah, so you walk in and Dominic is just from torso up, just no shirt on, no nothing. Like he's just there. You see his
bruises and scrapes.
Yeah, you see all the scrapes and the bruises, and you see just like scratches, and it looks like deep like scars and tissue, like it's just bubbled over scars all over his back and everything like that. This is the first time you've actually seen him without armor on.
He's kind of ripped, Bernie.
She thinks in her head. Need to put some meat on those bones.
I mean, all he eats is goblin guts, apparently. So there you go.
Yeah.
Dominic, you realize your other senses kick in. Your soldier's intuition kicks in. You realize there's someone's in the room with you.
Mm-hmm. I think at this point he probably would have saw the door. The light from the outside would have cast a long shadow over him, and that would have kind of like, oh, somebody's opened the door.
You make any effort to hide the deck, or?
He'll kind of look over his shoulder a little bit to see who it is. And if he recognizes Bernie, he'll.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's clearly Bernie.
It's clear Bernie. Yeah, I mean, even probably by the silhouette of the shadow, he probably would have figured out. Oh, it's Bernie.
Or the smell, or I mean,
yeah.
I think once you realize someone was behind you, it was like, almost instantly, like afterwards, it was like someone's behind. It's okay, it's Bernie. You know,
it's
like,
yeah, exactly.
You're pretty good at assessing, especially your companions at this point.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he would have like fumbled forward to try to like cover it up, but I think he'd probably start kind of putting it all back together and like wrapping it up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because he's done with his. He's done with what he was trying to do.
Right. So Bernie, you kind of walk in on this, clearly private moment, and just see Dominic like, sense you behind him, and then just start putting up. But you do briefly see. I'll even say, roll me a perception check, Bernie.
Does he have dark?
DC 15, you get something. DC 20, you get something really good.
11.
Okay. You see, like, the art of the card. I don't think you necessarily see, like, the symbol or the name of it before he kind of, like, puts the deck back together and folds it up in a handkerchief and kind of starts packing his stuff up.
Does Dominic look concerned, or, like, what is his read right now as she stands, like, over him, watching him do this? Dominic?
I think Dominic would have. I think he's gonna try to keep his cool. I think he's just gonna kind of like act like nothing's going on. Because he's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I think Bernie's concern right now is that Dominic is on the ground, knelt over some object. She sees all of the cuts on his back and the bruises. He can't hear. And she's standing there just kind of staring at him with a very concerned look on her face. And I think just reading the room in that situation, she walks over beside him and kneels down on the ground with him. And as he's packing the cards away, and once they're all wrapped up, she's just gonna grab his hands and she's gonna look at him in the eyes if he looks back.
Yep.
And she's gonna give just a very gentle smile, pat him on the hands, and then with one hand she's gonna make that third phrase, symbol, in sign language that she taught them earlier, which is the family sticks together. And she's gonna make that sign, and she's gonna smile, and she's gonna place her hand back on top of his, and just kind of motion for him to follow.
That's
Yeah.
so good. I love that. I think as you guys kind of make your way back into the main tavern, I think Staris, you got to get out of the bath. At this point, it's getting cold.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I got cleaned up.
Gotta get out of the bath.
you got. Hey, you're starting
You
to get
gotta
pretty.
get out.
Like, and I think that's like what Staris is saying. Is like, oh, I gotta get out. I don't want
It's
to.
time.
Like,
It's time.
Do you guys want to roll for the darts, Kitland and Galadriel?
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, give me one more sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand.
No, not sleight of hand. This
Please.
should just be your proficiency plus an attack roll. Dexterity plus proficiency. Sleight of hand is like magic tricks.
Can we say that Dominic put at
Say
least
that one more time.
a shirt on?
Just a roll, then plus proficiency.
Yeah, so
Why
just
are you
proficiency
doing
plus your
this?
dexterity. So just like any attack roll that you're proficient in will work. Yeah. Because I think both of you guys are proficient with arts, considering your skill sets.
D20 plus proficiency bonus, correct?
Plus your dexterity modifier.
Alright, so plus 3.
Wow,
What?
Kitlin,
Yeah.
look at you, bro.
Hey.
Wow.
Is Kitland a classy winner, or is he a boisterous winner?
Like a sly little shit. Alright, so
Perfect.
can't hold your liquor then, right?
You all walk in, Staris, Dominic, Bernie, all kind of like make your way back into like the main tavern as Kitlin is talking so much shit to Ladry, for winning this start game. And Bernie, you know that you got a little bit of time because Sister Ardell said she would need a little bit of time to prepare. And you see that Sildar and Gundren are kind of talking over in a booth, and they kind of see you all and wave you over.
Yeah, I think I would head on over, but after congratulating Kitland. Hey, stomped him this time, didn't you?
Right. He's beat me before, though. He's good at what he does.
He's a humble winner.
Yeah, he just can't hold his liquor, so.
I don't want to hold my liquor.
I don't want to.
No, you should drink it, Gundren says as you guys make your way to their table. And you see that they're a little serious amidst all the revelry. Gundren more so than Sildar. And you kind of quickly all pick up on that. Well, I heard from my brothers. Sorta. Anyways. Went to the Delverton Miners Exchange and with the other lads, and well, he looks at you, Bernie, and he says, "You read Dwarvish, I'm assuming.
Hey.
What do you make of this?" And he hands you the note that his brother left him. And Bernie, you see written in Dwarvish a very simple note. Sildar kind of watches you as you read it here. Sildar has. You just see kind of Sildar watches your face intently as you read the note, Bernie. The note says, and Gundren explains to you, he has two brothers, Dendro and Tharden. Dendro is the youngest, Gundren was the middle, and Tharden was the oldest. This note was written by Dendro. Gundren explains to you. The note reads, Tharden went on a delve. That was 3 nights ago.
Oh, God.
You see the words, I'm wor, like WORR, like the word worried is about to be spelled out, but then crossed out with a single line. And then after that, you see, I'm going after him. The stone, brother. It's so loud here. It's like drums, or shouting, or singing.
Oh,
It's hard to
great.
explain.
Oh,
If you're fool enough to follow, we left a trail. Just like when we were children. Indra. So Bernie, because you're a dwarf, you have the stone sense ability. In fact, you've used it before. So you know the line, the stone, it's so loud here. It's like drumming or shouting or singing. It's hard to explain. You know that dwarves have a way of kind of receiving messages from the stone. And if they were at a mine, if they were an entryway into like a, into the mountain, I mean, that's when your abilities are their strongest. Well, Gungeon says, seeing that you read it, can you make anything of it? And you see that Sildar is kind of watching you to see how you respond, knowing a little bit more than Gundren knows about what you've all experienced.
I think that Bernie reads the note out loud so that everybody can hear it. It's so strange. Drums and shouting and singing. An energy, a wavelength.
I thought so too. That was a weird bit.
Something speaking in that cave. And I think it's the glowing rock.
Ethereum.
Aye.
I know how to get to it.
We know.
No, the cave. I mean, I know how to get to it. Last line. I said they left a trail, like when we were children. I can follow that trail. I can get to Echo Cave.
Right. Well, that's the best news we've heard yet, right?
Does that mean you'll go with me?
Well, which direction?
South. Into the Sword Mountains.
Isn't that the direction of Desert Valley?
Sildar speaks up. Desert Valley is east of here, past Tribor. Several days' journey.
Have you been?
Not in... not in the valley itself. Went around it once, a long, long, long time ago. Well, wouldn't do it again. For all the gold in the world. Terrifying place.
Right,
Why?
so I'm told Well, I've got to get me friend back to her herd. You've seen her, Pamela. I'm told that her herd might be in Desert Valley.
It would make sense. Uh, we circumnavigated because we were told, horrible, strange beasts lurked within. And Pamela's unlike anything I've ever seen before, so if Desert Valley is a place of rare, strange beasts, her being from there would make sense. Still, place gave me the kind of shivers.
Gundren, how big are the caves?
Brothers didn't say, unfortunately.
Is there
Not
any other
sure.
way in? A back way?
The only way I know is following the trail my brothers left for me.
Right, well, that gives me something to think about.
And to be fair, this cave has been lost for hundreds of years. Nobody's found a way in until my brothers, and I guess
Right, well,
Listen.
what do you say, crew?
Should we go find the caves?
I think we need to at least put our eyes on the caves, on the Ethereum. I'm getting worried that more and more attention is coming to that place, that Echo Cave. And the power, just from this note alone, I can hear the thrumming. The thrumming that he's describing.
Yeah, we should protect it.
I worry, Kitland, if we don't go try and find this power first, will there even be a home for Pamela to go back to?
Alright, so you kind of like messaging Dominic to keep him in the loop throughout this
Oh,
conversation?
definitely. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So yeah, Dominic, definitely feel like you can chime in too. Don't feel like you gotta RP as the quiet guy the whole night.
Yeah, no.
This is what's going on.
And I think Dominic would have told Stars to relay, like, well, the drumming and the sounds from the note sound kind of like what we heard in the book, so maybe they're related.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Guy,
I relay it.
Yeah.
think I agree.
I thought the same. No, that's Gundren. I thought the same as well. You hear Sildar kind of say after you guys acknowledge it. Was the first thing I thought. Gundren, I didn't want to alarm you, but this sound your brothers experienced. I don't know. Is it possible all of this is connected somehow?
Hey, after the things we've seen, I think anything's possible.
I
I
mean,
can't help.
Dominic, I think I might be pulling at strings at this. From what I remember from the chat I had with the Eldritch being, he mentioned his ascension was necessary to be seen. I don't know if maybe the stones are involved in the ascension, or maybe they were mined and distributed somehow. The book is involved as a catalyst, or maybe this is the way that maybe this is not the only book. Maybe this is just Ku found it, and this is just one of many that people have that have been listening to this. Because from what I can tell, there's no way that this entity could have amassed this much power without help. And if people are hearing these drumming and then are pulled, because Bernie, you were pulled toward the book. Maybe
It
that's
feels
how
like something
it
is definitely
works.
connected.
Aye.
And the only way we'll find out is if we go to the caves.
Right. We agreed?
Caitlin, you're all right with one more journey before finding Pamela's home?
Right, well, you bring up a good point. I mean, if just one tiny bit of this Ethereum can make that big of an explosion, what could a whole cave do
Aye.
to our whole world? And who's to say that the cave doesn't let out in the east?
That's fair. There could be all kinds of tunnels down there that lead anywhere.
That's true.
What about
We'll
you?
go there.
Sildar kind of speaks up at this point and looks at you, Eladri. How do you fit into all of this?
Well, to be honest, I'm just on my way through the world trying to make it a little better. I do good where I can. I heard there were disturbances in Delverton. Mercenaries had taken over. I wasn't all right with that. And Delverton would be the furthest that I'd ever been away from anywhere. So I found a group that was willing to take me on. And then
Wait, you
eventually
were coming.
made it there.
You were coming to Delverton to deal with the Red Brand threat.
Yes.
I like this guy. Sildar says, and kind of claps Eladri on the shoulders. No, maybe a week and a half too late, but your heart's in the right place, lad.
But hearing the stories that this group has, the roles, how important each of them are to one another,
You're gonna go
that
with them?
inspires hope. That inspires hope. And of course I will. And Kitland, believe me, at the end of this, we'll get Pamela to where she belongs.
Well, I appreciate that. You're a damn good shot, so two's better than one, as far as I'm concerned.
Aye, we'll be happy to have you.
I extend out a hand to Kitland.
I'd do it again.
Yeah.
You-
Sildar takes a swig of his wine and starts to get up, puts his hand on Gundren and says, well, Gundren, looks like you have about the best luck in hiring people to work for you. Except for bodyguards. And kind of laughs at his own joke and says, well, I have an early start tomorrow, unfortunately. Return to Neverwinter. Please come find me if you're ever up that way, and good luck to every single one of you. Neverwinter, the Hells, the whole Sword Coast. They owe a debt to people like you, willing to do what's right against uncertainty, grave danger. I'm proud of you all.
Well, Sildar, do you think that this sort of world-ending threat would be enough to convince your knights and yourself to come with us? Because, like Bernie said, if there's no Desert and Valley, there's no Neverwinter.
I agree. And
If I could go with you, I would, but without any hard evidence, I'm afraid the knights, well, let's just say they're very rigid in how they operate. The literal epitome of lawful good. If it's not in writing from their superiors, they won't do it. Type of folk. No, I don't think we'll have any way of convincing them, as important as I think your quest is, and please don't mistake me. I think what you're doing is gravely important. Gundren, try not to get yourself killed. That goes double for all of you. Find me when you can.
Right, what time are you all leaving out in the morning?
Well before the sun rises, I'm afraid. I don't expect any of you to be up that early.
I'm gonna cut my eyes over to Staris. Cheekily.
I don't think Sildar catches that and kind of wishes you all good night and begins to make his way out. I think Gundren slowly peels off as well. He's pretty tired, willing to get some rest. He'll find you all in the morning, and you can go from there. And he thanks you again for agreeing to help me find my brothers. It's I just really hope they're okay. He kind of, peels off for the night. I think, Bernie, if you and Dominic want to go visit Sister Aradel, it's been about an hour or so.
I think that would be the next move, and pull in anyone else that wants to come along. Stars, since you can communicate with Dominic, it might be good to have you.
I think I have to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And then that just leaves Caitlin and Eladri to resume their dark game in the bar. And,
I think I'll follow with two.
Okay.
Yeah.
On account of
All
Let's
sticking
lay that
together. I
down.
love it.
Cool.
As Gundren and Sildar bid you all good night and peel away, take a moment. And at this point, I think, a lot of people are getting pretty drunk. A lot of people have headed home. Those that are still behind are fading fast. You see the Stone Hills are starting to tidy up as you leave the tavern. All of your rooms have been prepared for the night. You have places to crash, but you have one last thing you'd like to do tonight before retiring for the evening. And I think here, because it is getting late, is where we will pick up our session next time we all meet.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger. What a soft, gentle ending for once.